604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. Starting off your Tuesday morning at 64 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Not digging that forecast. Remember Kate right there. No. And we do need to dry out a little bit for sure. But I was liking staving off the 90s. That was refreshing. I mean, this morning wasn't bad. You open you open the door to the leave the house in the morning, and as long as the humidity's not straight up punching you in your chest, it's not bad. But looks like those days are numbered, to be sure. We got a busy show for you this morning. We're check in down in New Orleans with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics at 6:35. Take you inside the state capitol with Anna Johnson at 7:15. Also check in on West Baton Rouge news with Anna while she's with the West Baton Rouge Chamber. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm going to dive into that when we talk about our officers on the streets. Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse joining us at 7:35. There is a bill in front of the legislature that involves victims of human trafficking. It is where'd it go? Senate Bill 152. We're going to talk with Alexandra Bailey at 8:05 about that bill. And then we're going to dive into the budget. State Representative Jack McFarland is the title name, as it were, the author of the budget, HB1, as it made its way through committee yesterday, $49+ billion. We'll talk with Jack McFarland at 8:15. Then we're going to wrap things up with Murr, our good buddy James Murray from Impractical Jokers. He's going on tour, and it's a lot of fun. I actually pre-recorded the interview, so we'll hear from Murr at 8:40. Right now, though, we start off the morning with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Number 5 is actually going to be in two parts this morning. I don't know if you have like an honorable mention to add on to it, but you heard the story in our traffic report right there. The left lane is still blocked on left lane is blocked just past the 10-12 split due to a disabled semi. So you're going to want to use caution throughout the morning this morning as there will be added delays. In fact, it's already pretty stacked. John, you came in this way. Was it already not backed up when you came through?
It was pretty backed up.
Okay.
But I was able to. Yeah, and I knew it was coming up anyway, so it was easy for me to.
It's just the one lane, so right. I'm not. I don't. It's not a complete reroute right now. Just if you're not used to traffic this early in the morning, be ready for it. Here, okay. Number 5, LSU Athletics announced their latest class to head into the school's athletic Hall of Fame, and there's a heavy lean towards the hardwood here. John Brady and Ronald Dupree will be added from men's basketball. Tamika Johnson and Cornelia Gayden on the women's side. Men's golf coach J. Perry Cole and gymnast Reagan Corville round out this year's Hall of Fame class.
Number 4.
Louisiana's Economic Development announced yesterday that an energy-focused innovation hub is coming to New Orleans. New Lab New Orleans will be located near the Intercoastal Industrial Canal. The company bringing a New Lab to town says the new facility will focus on helping stimulate economic growth by giving energy startups resources to demonstrate new technologies.
Number 3.
Deputies arrested a man they say is responsible for the death of 7-year-old Therese Coleman, who was killed back in 2014. The case went unsolved for more than a decade until Monday night. 32-year-old Rashad Montreal Turner was booked into jail for first-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
Number 2.
House Appropriations Committee advanced the $49.4 billion state budget yesterday. It will fund those $2,000 teacher stipends for next year. Going to close the nearly $200 million shortfall and balance the books without raising taxes. To bridge the budget gap, lawmakers did piece together a solution using a mix of cuts, delayed spending, and the discovery of unspent or underutilized funds that were tucked away in various agencies. Like I said, Jack McFarland, the author of HB1, going to join us at 8:15 to elaborate.
Number 1.
BRPD responded to a suspected shooting on North 11th Street near the Elysian Apartments. Happened around 10:30 last night. We don't have any information on what led to the shooting or whether or not anybody was arrested. What's trending, John?
Well, PetSmart is shutting down all their brick and mortar locations due to, quote, irreconcilable challenges.
Yep. I saw that.
They've been in hot water before.
Have they?
Yeah. Animal welfare concerns, grooming incidents and lawsuits, employee treatment, training programs.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that bad over at PetSmart.
Yeah, right.
Well, not having a pet, why would I? But
Right.
like, yeah, I didn't realize that.
And I got a pet, but I guess I'm not in there long enough to even.
I just thought like retail on the pet front
Yeah.
was kind of meeting its maker here because what's the website where everybody orders their dog food from now?
I see ads for it all the time, and I cannot.
Yep.
cannot
It's
think
one
of
of,
it.
if you didn't ask me, I'd know, Tippett. Yep.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, aside from all of that, I mean, maybe that's the irreconcilable challenges they're facing. But of course, brick and mortar locations, a pet store, everything you can get online. I hate to say that, but it's
Well, I mean,
it's a big.
isn't this
store
the way
for-
that box stores are going overall?
Right.
I mean, it would be the same for like a Circuit City,
right?
or it's just
And
I
I'll say
know
this.
Best Buy's hanging on,
Right,
but
by a thread, right? I
Right.
mean, oof. Yeah, I will say this though. Anytime I have been at PetSmart, there's not really many customers.
Yeah.
There's just not.
Yeah.
In other news, History Channel fans, rather, heads up. A horde of World War II era Nazi propaganda and membership documents has been unearthed in the basement of Argentina's Supreme Court, where it has lain stashed in champagne crates since 1941.
41.
41.
So the beginning, or well, if you're
Mm.
Germany, you're a little bit further than the beginning end. But
Yeah.
from our end, the beginning of World War I. That's do you follow all the the Nazis picked up?
not as much as I should. If I catch it,
Yeah.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I'm dialed in.
I think what was the show? It was a few years ago. Chasing Hitler, I think they called
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm intrigued by it. It's
So am
intriguing.
I.
It's a lot of.
The idea that they just packed up and moved,
Oh yeah, yeah. That he didn't die in that bunker.
Yeah. All right.
In other news, local news here, American Idol contestant John Foster is coming home to West Baton Rouge Parish after advancing to the top 3 and will be met with a parade in his hometown tomorrow evening.
Okay, before we get into that, let me just stop and say thank you for not having Diddy's opening statements as part of the trending stories this morning. Yeah.
Man, some of that stuff even you were hearing in ABC News.
Yeah. It's
Wow. Kids. We're thinking of the children, Brian. We're thinking of the kids this morning. Wow. But yeah, congratulations, John Foster.
So he's in the top 3 now.
Yeah.
This has gotten so real.
It has.
I will stand by it. There's no way it happens.
Right.
The tag team here on the back end.
Yeah.
There's no way it happens. There's no way it happens. But if it did,
This would be the time.
the Lane Hardy, John Foster going to get on tour together, right?
Hey, there you go.
I mean, it's kind of built out.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is really cool stuff.
It's 612 at Talk 107.3 FM at WBRP. Oops, shout out to my boy Rob Clem. Chewy. Chewy is the name of the website. Chewy.
Oh.
Yeah. Not that chewy. It's 612 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Do you have your, well, let's move from dog food to people food. How about lunch plans? How about P.F. Chang's? How about the black pepper chicken? Oh, God. God. The black, it's got a lot of pop. It's when you think of black pepper, you don't really think of like over seasoned, like fire it, like cayenne. It's just got that nice little presence to it. And it is served over onions, vegetables, and the like. The black pepper sauce touching basically everything on the plate. It is a unique flavor, to be sure, and is one of the great many menu items that are available. Lunch specials that start at $13.99. Dinner specials start at $16.99. Hey, it is graduation time. If you want to book reservations for graduation, they've got you covered over at P.F. Chang's. I mean, they're here for you every day. But with graduation in the air, might not be the worst idea to take advantage of that ambiance, take advantage of that upscale atmosphere, take advantage of a little bit lighter Asian flair over at P.F. Chang's. You know where to find them. Off Corporate Boulevard in Town Center. Look for the giant golden horse. Sports is next. Do you have the NBA cut that I sent you? And do you have the 2 Verge Osbury cuts I sent last night? Or did I? Okay. 25. doing a break right now. Oh. I know, right? .617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, breaking sports into two segments this morning. LSU had a pretty big football scheduling announcement yesterday. We'll get to that in our next segment. Right now, though, the NFL absolute masterfully does this every year. The NFL schedule's slated to be released on Thursday, but they are never satisfied with one news cycle. So you see things like leaks come out a couple days before, and we have some NFL schedule leaks at our fingertips right now. The NFL season will open with the Cowboys and Eagles. That will be the kickoff of the 2025 NFL season. Also of note, we don't have the full schedule yet. Obviously, little dribbles will come out. Fox Sports announced yesterday that we're going to see two NFC games on December 20th. That would be the Commanders and Eagles, and then an NFC North matchup between the Packers and Bears. Why does that matter when looking at the entire scope of the NFL season? It matters because that is a Saturday where you're going to have a college football, or you're going to have multiple college football playoff games. So NFL not standing down for college, a lot of folks will have to decide, am I watching college football? Am I watching the NCAA? Or am I going to watch the NFL? Commanders and Eagles on December 20th is probably going to be a battle for the top spot in that conference. Packers, Bears, well, who knows at that point. But nonetheless, they're going to be competing for viewers with college football in the college football playoff. Meanwhile, over in the NBA, the draft lottery was last night. Here's how the top four picks played out.
The fourth pick in the NBA draft goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Picking third will be the Philadelphia 76ers. The second pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and that means that the number one pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
The music. It's like they're revealing a flan to Gordon Ramsay. I mean, it's so intense. By the way, the Pelicans are going to pick 7th overall in the draft. So not sure what the drop-off is from numbers 1 all the way down to 7, but that's where the Pels fall out. It's 6:20. Here comes the Fox Business Report right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, Nelly. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. All right, that problem with the 18-wheeler is gone. We are looking at just scaling back to your normal volume on 12 westbound, starting way back by Range Avenue. It's intermittent all the way through the 10-12 merge, if you will. We had reported about 20 minutes ago on a problem with an 18-wheeler that was stalled out or pushed off to the side, blocking one lane. Since it's been removed, we're looking good here. I-10 westbound can be slow going around the University Lakes as well. Other than that, your interstates are great. 10 coming in from Ascension looks good. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge looks good, as does I-110 in both directions. Hopping off the interstates, we've only got one surface street accident to report. I'm sorry, it's not accident. It's listed as traffic enforcement. That would be Antioch at Chadsford, which I guess is inside Shenandoah, so I'm not too worried about it. That's your look at traffic from the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. 625, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, hopping on board with us in our next segment. Right now, though, we're going to continue where we left off with sports. Pretty big announcement was made yesterday for LSU football as they announced a home-and-home series with SMU. This would be for the 2028 and 2029 seasons, I believe. And with the home and home series, that does mean that we will go to Dallas. But what wasn't exactly what I didn't see, and this was confirmed with Verge Osbury was on with Matt Moscona talking about this. Matt asked them straight up, do we know if they're playing this in SMU's home stadium or if this thing might move over to Jerry's World?
You know, we talked to the athletic director about that, and there's a possibility that game could be in Jerry's World. We don't want to talk about that too early, but that's something we left open in the contract where that game could be. You know, their stadium was 40,000-seat stadium. So we understand, both of us understand that could be a marquee game in Dallas. And if, you know, it presents itself, we would like to play a game in Jerry's World.
If I'm making a bold prediction, there's no way they don't play this thing in Jerry's World. And when you're under 40,000 seats for a stadium, I mean, and you have the potential to drive so much more revenue, and forget about revenue, when you have the potential to allow that many more fans to see the ball game, to have the full experience and whatnot. There's it feels kind of like a no-brainer to move this thing over. It's not like it's not like moving an LSU game down to the Superdome. You're not moving an hour away. You're what, 20, 30 minutes away at best. You're staying in Dallas. Well, you're moving from Dallas to Irving, but you get what I'm saying. So the home and home, SMU will come to Baton Rouge on September 2nd of 2028. And then LSU will go to Dallas on September 1st of 2029. It'll be the first game of the season, both seasons, unless a week 0 game is scheduled. LSU has not dove in on the week 0 games yet. You look at a home and home like this versus the idea of playing one of those, neutral games, one of the big, kickoff classic type games. Matt asked Verge about the balance of, do you want the home and home, or do you want the big ticket payday that comes with the neutral site game?
This year is what's best for our team and the team we have coming back, and how we can get ourselves into preparation for the playoffs. We don't look at it as the rev sharing part of it. That's not part of it. But, we would like to play the neutral site games. It's a big payout. But like our fan base, they want to see the home and homes also. So I said this many times back before. We're going to play neutral site. We're going to play home and homes when it's smart for us to do it. And we have to make sure that we hit on the right years. And if you go to a 9-game schedule, that really changes it up a little bit. So you have to be very, very careful how you schedule those things. That's why, Matt, we've slowed down a lot on our process and how we do this future scheduling, because we don't know what we're going to get yet. As soon as we know those type of things and get direction, all of us will be able to schedule and go out with future schedules in a better way.
Oh, yeah. Did I forget to mention the SEC is looking at the possibility of moving from an 8-game conference schedule to a 9-conference game schedule, which that is a big deal. I mean, you might be thinking just, nix one of the lower games. Okay, that's fine. But you've only got 4 non-conference games as it stands right now. When you map out scheduling years in advance like this, it makes it a little bit tougher to do. It makes it a little bit tougher just to nix somebody, and you're probably still going to have to play a power 4 within those non-conference games. I'm sure there would still be a want to take on in-state teams or teams from a locale, but the options would get very few and very far between. We're still waiting to see what the Southeastern Conference does with that 9th game. But in the meanwhile, 2028, 2029, SMU at home and then in Dallas. Actually, looking forward to that. SMU has made the playoff last year, for crying out loud. Can't slight that at all. All right, coming up in just a little bit on the back end of news, traffic, and weather, we're going to check in with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. We'll check in on the budget. Talk about a few announcements that were made down in New Orleans and the passing of a New Orleans legend, to be sure. We do have, like I said, that news, traffic, and weather coming your way in just a quick second. Don't forget, Coach Beth Torina and the number 10 LSU Tiger softball team will host an NCAA regional this weekend at Tiger Park. The Tigers are facing Southeastern Friday at 4:30-ish. A win would have the Tigers playing Saturday at noon against either Nebraska or UConn. You can hear Tiger softball all postseason long right here on Talk 107.3 FM. It's 6:30. Here comes news. Walt. Did she say Wayne?
I don't know. Because although I have it in my ear, I was reading something else. My bad. Hi, good morning, Jeff. This is John. Brian Haldane. Hey, looking to have you on here in just a few minutes. All right. Thank you.
And it's time to get a look at your forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. 638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is time for us to get caught up on basically everything happening down the road. Our good buddy Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics, is on with us. Jeff, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Doing great.
Glad to have you on this morning. I'm kind of torn as to where to start here, because the legislative session is what's going on right now, and the budget made out of appropriations yesterday. But since you are in New Orleans, I'm sure the news of the passing of Al Scaramuza is, and I know in Baton Rouge they're probably like, what? But in New Orleans, I mean, dude made it to 97. You think about the New Orleans history that passed with him on TV is a New Orleans legend, to be sure, but kind of, the dying breed of the local celebrity,
Well, Al Scaramuza was, as you say, a legend, a TV icon. I mean, he created commercials that have survived now for decades. I mean, people still enjoy watching him on YouTube. He was such a personality throughout his whole life. I mean, he was active. I mean, they just named a road for him just a few months ago. So, I mean, he was at a ceremony where he was singing in Jefferson Parish a few months ago. I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I had him on my Politics with a Punch show a few times, and he was, a big draw and just a great character. Unfortunately, we don't have characters like that anymore. We don't have iconic television commercials like that anymore. You just don't have the same situation that we did back then. But he's going to be missed, but he was blessed with a long life, 97 years. That's pretty darn good.
We had the chance to meet him at a crawfish cook-off out at UNO. I'm actually scrolling through my phone. It was a decade ago, almost a decade ago. It was May 9th, 2015. Got the chance to meet him, and yeah, absolutely, just a fantastic character. And when you look at the local TV characters, it's becoming a bygone era.
And, we had people like Hap Glaude on TV, and Garland and Angela. You had Buddy Diliberto. You had so many media characters in New Orleans that were iconic, people that had personality, that were, just transformative. I mean, you pass from one generation to the next, they'll be talking about them. And that is, sadly, from a bygone era that doesn't exist anymore. So it's sort of sad to see that go. And, of course, we're going to miss Al. But, again, celebrate his wonderful life.
Yeah, absolutely. Up here in Baton Rouge, the kids' show was Buckskin Bill. Down in New Orleans was Popeye and Pals that I grew up with. Oh, in New Orleans.
That's another,
right?
Iconic, yeah. I mean,
remember the game show Know-It-Alls?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
I do.
Yeah. All right, let's bring.
And you just don't have that anymore. You don't have that kind of local flavor.
I don't know why. Well, I mean, with so many venues, so many outlets for it, everybody's got like their side channel, their .2, their HD. It's not like we don't have the outlet for it.
Right. I think, you're right. It just, you just don't see it. I mean, the only one, I guess, in recent years who has been iconic in that way is sort of Ronnie Lamarck. He's had his
yep.
Signature commercials. And then sort of in more recent history, Sidney Torres, the rock star of trash, he had some iconic TV commercials for his business. But nothing sort of corny but clever like Al Scaramuza. I mean, it was just, something that, again, we'll never see again.
All right, you bring up Sidney Torres. That's a good spot to pivot right there. Has there been any more news on the garbage front in the quarter?
No, the conflict, the showdown, the trash showdown still continues. On the one side, you have the rock star of trash, and then you've got the people. And then on the other side, you've got the insiders, and you've got the mayor. And, this thing is still going to be probably up in the air now for a few more weeks. So I don't know how it's going to be settled, but you still have the signs promoting Sidney Torres in the French Quarter, and they've loved what he's done. Now, of course, the Quarter is worried because we're getting ready to get into the summer.
Yeah.
And this is the difficult time for New Orleans as, business drops and some of these restaurants have a hard time hanging on. And, we can get through the summer. It's all good. So this is a difficult time for a lot of businesses here.
Yeah, when the the French Quarter just gets scorching hot, to say the least. I mean, it's there's only so much you could do. Only so much you could do with Mother Nature. Let's pivot over to the state legislature. Budget making its way through the process, going through appropriations yesterday. You got any takeaways from where we're at in the session?
Pretty creative that they were able to, pass a budget giving the teachers a pay raise, sort of, fulfilling what they weren't able to do with the ballot box. And, they just moved some money around. They found extra money by saying, hey, no more new vehicles, save money because no new hires, the hiring freeze, paid down debt early, saving some interest money. So, yeah, it's $1,000 for the support staff and $2,000 for the teachers. So I thought that was pretty creative. When I looked at the number, 49, I think 0.4 billion, Brian, I just got to thinking how in the 20 years it has tripled, because during the Foster era, it was 16 billion. And, during that time, we really haven't had a population growth. So we've just tripled the budget with roughly the same number of people here.
And the level of dependency along the way. I mean, I think we could probably start around 2005, where you really started to see it ratchet up. I mean, with Katrina and Rita, once you have federal dollars start rolling in, it's a hard habit to break.
And then, of course, we had COVID and the massive influx there. You had Ida, all kinds of different crises. I mean, the oil spill. I mean, it's been a tumultuous 20 years, that's for sure. But, we have got to get to the point where, we're growing our private sector. I do like the work that, the Landry administration is doing with economic development. I mean, we seem to be, scoring on some projects that are exciting. But we got to get more people here. We got to make this an attractive place for retirees, for young families. We got to get some of our folks back, family members, friends that I've lost. I'm sure you have too over the years. So hopefully we're laying the groundwork for that.
Well, okay, you bring this up at a perfect time, is because my oldest daughter is going to be going to college out of state starting this fall. And my mindset is already, how are we getting her back? Like, I understand you want to go, you want to blaze your own trail, you want to create your own path. I get that. Go conquer the world. But how do I bring you back home on the back end? It's like, once she's gone, is she ever coming back?
Well, you have the thinking that, hey, if they go away, like I went away to college, but then I came back missing my home.
Right.
But if they stay here, there's a chance like, oh, wow, we've been to college here, we grew up here, now we want to experience another area. Like, I have a son in Texas, but I have a daughter here. So she stayed here, thankfully. So I've got one child here, one child out of state. So, yeah, but there's got to be the jobs. There's got to be the opportunity when she finishes college for them to even think about or consider Louisiana. My son didn't have any opportunities that ranked anywhere near what he was getting as far as offers from other states. Yep. And as much as he might have wanted to stay here, he couldn't.
We got Jeff Crouere with us, host of Ringside Politics. Got him for another couple minutes before he's got to pivot over to his own show, which starts up at 7. Hey, speaking of opportunities in the state, pretty big announcement yesterday. How much do you know about this whole new lab project?
Again, it looks to me like another win for Louisiana economic development. This is going to be in an area that is incredibly dilapidated. I mean, I bike ride over the weekends and I go by this area and it's a mess. So this place is going to be repurposed, and this will be a hub there at an old naval support activity site at the Industrial Canal in the Mississippi River. So it's not exactly, a super neighborhood. So they're going to be redeveloping this. That's exciting.
Okay, so for the Baton Rouge audience, explain where it's at.
Cutting edge business. Mm-hmm.
For the Baton Rouge audience, explain kind of where it's at with the old naval station.
So, you've got you've got the French Quarter, and then you go further to the east, you have, the Marigny, and then you go further to the east, and you have Bywater, right on the Industrial Canal. So it's a heavy commercial traffic area that has, it's on the way towards New Orleans East, over, where you have the high rise. And it's been an area where, there was a little bit of glimmer of hope after Katrina. You had some people moving in and redeveloping it. But this particular facility, fell into disrepair, and the Navy left, and it just, became a hangout for homeless. And, go by there and there's, graffiti everywhere, and it's just a total mess. So if this can be turned into something state of the art, I mean, that would be, really exciting, I think, for the whole area. And it might lead to more investment in that area. Town, which is historic and old, but, you got high crime in the area. It's not exactly, one of the better neighborhoods in New Orleans.
Like you said, it's become just kind of a magnet for, homeless, squatters, and the like. This is going to take a major investment, not just to get the business up and running, but just to clean it up.
Right. Yeah. It's an eyesore. It's a health hazard. It's a mess. The cleaning it up is going to be quite an investment, but the end result will be this business, New Lab, which seems to be very innovative, very cutting edge, and could potentially draw other, businesses to the area. So, you've got that hope, and we haven't had a lot of these, big announcements in the Cantrell era.
No, we have not. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see them start to come in on all parts of the state. It's just every corner of the state's getting something right now. We just keep on adding it to the overall total. You got a show to get to. I appreciate you as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. He's Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics down in New Orleans on WGSO. We got Your Money Now coming your way. Damn it. Where's the building at? Taking you inside the state capitol and bringing you up to speed on all things going on the other side of the river. We got Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber coming up 20 minutes from right now. Also, next hour, we've got our chief of police. That would be Chief TJ Morse joining us. We got a lot to talk about with the chief. I want to lead with Mental Health Awareness Month, but we got a lot. We'll have a lot of ground to cover. Just overall crime numbers pivoting from graduation time or the end of the school year over to summertime. We do see different patterns, different trends, and the like. We'll be up to speed on all of it. That's coming up next hour. In our 8 o'clock hour, Jack McFarland's going to join us. State Representative McFarland is the author. I say author. I mean, it's a 185-page bill, and everybody contributes to it, of HB1. HB1 is our state's budget, and it made its way out of appropriations yesterday, $49.4 billion. LA Gator Scholarship Program included. We got a lot to cover with Jack McFarland. And then Murr is going to join us as well. Our good buddy James Murray from the Impractical Jokers. I actually already recorded the interview and we were going to play it back later on in the week. And then yesterday, Congressman Carter had to cancel. So I was like, oh, no problem. No problem. I don't have to sit on this Murr interview for too long. So good stuff. We got Murr coming up at the 8 o'clock hour as well. Back into the legislative session, though. Jude A., where great bills go to die. The Senate Judiciary A Committee is going to kick into high gear today. Hearing several auto insurance bills. You heard some of it in our news at the bottom of the hour from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Committee Chairman Greg Miller says one of the bills we're going to hear would eliminate damages to those who were majority at fault in a crash.
If you're 51% or more at fault in causing the accident, you won't be able to collect any damages against any of the defendants.
Yeah. This is going to be so interesting to see how it plays out, because some of these bills, that one is by State Representative Emily Chenevier, and it is awesome. Comparative fault is Emily Chenevier's bill. The HB 431, if you're a nerd like me and you keep track of these things. This is where the rubber's going to meet the road. When we talked with Moon yesterday, that's why I love having Moon on. He's going to be in, by the way, in the 8 o'clock for his show. It's going to be broadcast right here. But when we talked with Moon yesterday, I asked him gut feeling, just take away based off of nothing but instinct. And Moon's done this for a hot minute. Based off of nothing but instinct, how do you think the Bills are going to play? 40 some odd bills going through Jude A. At least that's what's on the books right now. And he said a third will pass, a third will fail, and a third will get so watered down that it won't matter. And man, I've been digesting that over the last 24 hours. And darn it if I don't believe he's 100% on point. Like, that's probably how it's going to play out. Back to Miller. He says the purpose behind the comparative fault bill would be to discourage people from filing frivolous lawsuits against big companies which carry a high amount of liability insurance. He says, for example, someone who's 80% at fault for causing a major crash could still be in for a big payday, depending on who the other party is.
On a $10 million case, that's still $2 million. So I think this will help with especially the claims against the larger companies and companies with larger insurance policies.
And bigger than the law itself is the mentality behind which drives the need for the law. Breaking us all of the jackpot justice mentality has got to be at the root of all this. One more from Miller, real quick. The aim here is to lower insurance rates. And while we'll probably never see them, too far down the line, we can at least have some mitigation.
I don't think we're ever going to see insurance rates go down because of inflation and the cost of repairing vehicles, inflation in medicals. But what we're trying to do is get us to where we're more in line with the insurance premiums paid by people in our neighboring states.
Yes, every other state in the nation knows how to do it except for us. Here's news. Let me go try again to see Condon. So, recorded the interview with Murr last week. Tweeted it out last night that he was going to be on at 8:35.
Okay.
Your boy DMs me at like 10:30 at night.
Sweet.
I know. I'm just laying there. Well, it's more like 10 o'clock. But like I'm laying there watching Modern Family with Christy, and my phone goes off. I'm like, what the hell? I just figured it was a normal Twitter notification. I look over. I'm like, I saw messages. Oh, it's from Murr.
Nice.
It's like, what's my call-in number for the morning?
Really?
And as I'm typing out my response, he says, or did we already record? And I'm like, yeah, we recorded last week. Yeah. I'm that guy in Louisiana that wants you to turn your book into a movie here. If we can get past the blizzard.
There we go. That's awesome. Man.
Well, let me know. Jeez. No, I just came on down. We're just down the hall shooting the breeze with Rich and Scott. I mean, didn't even know we're back in. All right, 7:05. Yeah, we're here. Let's go.
Let's go.
We got a busy hour. We got to get to it. 7:05. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Gonna check in with Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber in our next segment, who is not going to be in studio. She will be over the phone. And we've got Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse coming up later on this hour. We are starting off your second hour. You heard that forecast from Emma Kate Cowan. We're starting off our second hour at 64 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. That will not be the case for too much longer. The inevitable summertime is on its way. I know summer doesn't officially start till June 20th, but it's sure going to feel like it by the weekend. All right, let's go. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
LSU Athletics announced their latest class to head the school's Athletic Hall of Fame. A lot of basketball here. On the men's side, we got John Brady and Ronald Dupree. On the women's side for basketball, we got Tamika Johnson and Cornelia Gayden. Men's golf coach Jay Perry Cole and gymnast Reagan Corville round out this year's Hall of Fame class.
Number 4.
LED, Louisiana Economic Development, announced yesterday that an energy-focused innovation hub is coming to New Orleans. New Lab, New Orleans. It's going to be located near the Intercoastal Industrial Canal, Old Navy Yard, is where, the Old Navy base is where it's at, which is in the Bywater. The company says the new facility will focus on helping stimulate economic growth by giving energy startups resources to demonstrate new technologies.
Number 3.
Deputies arrested a man they say is responsible for the death of 7-year-old Therese Coleman, who was killed back in 2014. The case went unsolved for more than a decade until last night, when 32-year-old Rashad Montreal Turner was booked into jail for first-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
Number 2.
BRPD responded to a suspected shooting on North 11th Street near the Elysian Apartments about 10:30 last night. No word on if anybody was injured, no word on suspects, no word on arrests, or for that matter, what led to the shooting.
Number 1.
The House Appropriations Committee advanced a $49.4 billion state budget yesterday. It will include a $2,000 raise for teachers. It will include shoring up a $200 million shortfall, balancing out the books without raising taxes. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this with State Representative Jack McFarland, whose name is on the bill at 8:15.
Well, what's trending is PetSmart is shutting down all their brick and mortar locations due to, quote, irreconcilable challenges.
Which would mean it's 2025 and you can order your pet food from Chewy.com. Is that what that means?
That, yeah.
Or you could just grab it in an aisle at Walmart. It's that intermediate box store.
Yeah.
It's becoming a relic, isn't it?
It is. And I know PetSmart has been in some hot water before for animal cruelty, things like that.
Really?
So I don't know. Yeah. The more you dig into
you started to mention this last hour and we kind of moved past it to get the box store angle. But
animal and employee welfare.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Ooh, grooming incidents and lawsuits. There's a whole list. Deceptive marketing and pricing, ethical sourcing of animals. Oh, yeah. So
also, where does the S go? Is it Pets Mart?
Or is it
Pets Smart?
That's the question.
Where do you draw the dividing line between the two words? I think that's the irreconcilable challenge that they've got. We don't know what we are.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, History Channel fans,
how awesome would it be if they came out with that as a press release?
We don't know.
After 40 years of not knowing where the S goes.
We don't
What's
know.
our dividing line between Pet and Smart or Pets and Mart?
It's like, guys, before you shut down this store, we just need to know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. Okay, we don't know.
You know what else we don't know?
That's on us.
You know what else we don't know?
What's that?
Where the Nazis are today.
Hey, that's true. A horde of World War II era Nazi propaganda and membership documents have been unearthed in the basement of Argentina's Supreme Court, where it has lain stashed in champagne crates since 1941. And the History Channel is going to report on this.
So 1941 champagne crates.
Yeah.
Maybe a little premature on the celebration order there.
Oof.
I mean, that was.
I don't know.
And oh, by the way, like the thought that they were already in Argentina in 1941.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go down this rabbit hole every time the
I
History
know.
Channel offers it to me.
I know.
I can't help but with the chasing Hitler and the just.
I'm super intrigued by it too.
It's one that
So many questions, right?
I know.
So many things we still don't know,
Because where did they go from there?
right? They don't just and it's just gone.
No, they don't just go away.
Yeah, they don't just go away. Completely eradicated.
Yeah.
Went somewhere. You know who's going somewhere?
P.
American
Diddy.
Idol.
I'm sorry. We agreed before the show we weren't going to do that.
Well, on a more positive note, American Idol
testing
contestant
positive.
John Foster is coming home to West Baton Rouge Parish after advancing to the top 3 and will be met with a parade in his hometown tomorrow evening
Yes.
around 5 p.m.
It's getting more and more real every time around, man.
It is.
I still refuse to believe it.
Right.
I just refuse to believe that we're going to have 2 winners of American Idol this close to each other chronologically and geographically.
Yes.
It can't happen. It
One would
won't
think.
happen.
One would think. Wouldn't that be I guess we're going to see. But yeah, who knows? I don't know. He's advancing.
He's good, though.
Everything he
He's super
sings.
good.
It's
I know. I know.
It's phenomenal.
He sang Rainbow Connection.
Right.
And like you're not allowed to sing Rainbow Connection unless you're Kermit the Frog.
Right.
And he nailed it.
He does it in the most masculine way too.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know.
But like, how do you take a song that's that iconic and not just slide into a Kermit the Frog impression? Yeah, it's just it would feel natural to do that, but no, he made it his own.
That's it.
712 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Quick break. Anna Johnson's up next.
Pet's smart, right? I guess I would. Yeah, Pet's smart. But a double entendre, Pet's smart. It's a place for pets. But yeah.
What's a car wash?
Who's the car wash?
Benny's.
There he is.
What's up, bro?
Man of the hour.
I got a real estate company. I'm telling you.
Who's the real estate?
I don't know the name. I gotta pull it out. Or you give me on names.
It's not Darren James, is it?
Don't ask me these tough questions. I'm just now. All I'm doing right now is making relationships. But I'm tempted to go to the capital. I'll make some stuff.
I'm gonna go home and put on a nicer shirt.
You going?
I gotta record a podcast.
What time you going?
Studio. Hey, good morning. Yeah, looking to have you up here in about a minute or so.
Only reason I'm asking you that,
Thank
it's
you.
starting about 9.
Yeah.
These businesses, I think I'm gonna go take care of business and go, but I'm gonna be late. It's got to be late.
You
Bill
know,
Sanders, commercial real estate. Derek Babcock. Babcock's head of Republican.
yeah.
But I went to see him. He and his buddy owned the insurance company. They didn't want to have him.
Okay.
vintage thing came out of me meeting some people like on speaks. I think they advertise with y'all already.
Overall, yes, but not specifically here. And I think you and I can tag team that one. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I know. We have great value. Today? All right. Okay, yeah. I'm in for it. 7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Don't forget to Talk 107.3 Spring Cha-Ching, powered by Citizens Bank and Trust, is up and running. Register today at talk1073.com for your chance to win $5,000 cash. It's Spring Cha-Ching from Citizens Bank and Trust and Talk 107.3 FM. All right. Time to get dialed back in on the legislative session while at the same time getting dialed in on news from West Baton Rouge. We've got Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber on the hotline this morning. Anna, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing very well as well. Do you want to start with the session, or do you want to start with what's going on the other side of the river?
I mean, we need to talk about what's going on the other side of the river.
Let's go.
John Foster, our freaking hometown hero, rock star.
I mean, top 3. I'm refusing to believe it is where I'm at right now because of Lane Hardy. Like,
I know.
There's
and look,
no
this
way,
is a full
right?
circle moment for me because Denham Springs is my hometown, and then I work in West Baton Rouge, so I'm like, this is coming all full circle for me, so I'm pumped.
As you should be. Now, there's a parade tomorrow evening, right?
There is a parade. It starts at 5 o'clock in Addis, and then it's going to end in Plaquemine right there on the riverfront where he's going to do a concert. So we would love to have as many people in the capital region and state come out and support him because this is huge. And then obviously everybody kind of wants their 2 seconds of TV time where, they're waving at the cameras. But what's crazy is I think when he was in the top 10 or 12, American Idol producers had reached out to the parish just to kind of, here's what's going on, here are the next steps. If he makes it to this realm, then this, and then if he makes it to top 3, then we need you to do this. And so it's really kind of neat. I mean, that's, like to get calls like that from American Idol, it's just exciting. So we're pumped. I mean, he's got so much support. And I remember when I met him 4 years ago, and I still think of him as a kid, but he's in college. Mm-hmm. And I remember him just belting out this music, and it was so reminiscent of like Waylon Jennings and, just kind of that old timey country. And I mean, he's just so uber talented. So we're pumped. I mean, obviously we're rooting for him. And I think it was Carrie Underwood that made the comment on the last performance that he might win it all. So we're excited. So we would love for everybody to come out and support him tomorrow night.
You said free concerts on the back end of the parade?
Yeah.
Where at again, in Plaquemine?
Yeah, it's going to be on the riverfront. So if you're on LA1, you're driving down LA1. I mean, as soon as you get into Plaquemine, you'll see it. You go over a bridge and there's a little riverfront. It looks like a little riverfront arena. I mean, you can't miss it. You're going to drive straight into it. So it'll deadlock right there at the beginning of Plaquemine. So bring your chairs and bring the kids and bring the family and come listen.
Gotta love it. What else is going on in West Baton Rouge?
Oh, goodness, lots. We have our annual member appreciation crawfish boil in a couple weeks. It was supposed to be last week, and then we had a ton of bad weather. But this is one of our most favorite events of the year. The community comes out, and it's really just our thank you to everyone for supporting us. And it's kind of just like a little mini family reunion to kick off summertime. The kids are getting out of school, and everybody's getting ready to kick off summer. I know you mentioned earlier June 20th is the official start of summer, but I feel like we're kind of in that dead zone, like everybody's kind of winding down and getting ready to just kind of relax for the next couple of months. So we'd love to have you guys come join us in a couple of weeks for that as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a weird time, that transition to summer, and I'm in a weird spot because I've got one graduating. I know it's
about that.
Yeah, there's the layers of who's going to school today versus who gets to sleep in and whatnot. It's all over the map.
It's bittersweet. I mean, look, my dad cannot ready. He was ready to kick me out of the house at 18. Like, please go spread your wings. Like, I don't have to be legally responsible for you anymore. Goodbye. But then I think deep down inside, like when I would come home for him to like, wash my clothes or cook me a meal, I felt like he had a purpose. So,
Nope, she can do that
so it's
herself. She
bittersweet.
can 100%
Yeah.
do that herself. We're talking with Anna
Yeah.
Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Moving over to education real quick. I saw some new buildings are coming for Port Allen schools.
Yeah, so they're doing some renovations to some of the schools, and this is a project that's been in the works since our new superintendent came on. So I think he just made 2 years. If not, he makes 2 years this month. But this has been a project that's been in the works, like I said, for the last couple of years. When he came on, he really did a full assessment of everything from staff to property to goals. And so one of the things that has been much needed at some of these schools is just a little facelift. I mean, you need that every once in a while, right? Every building does. And so some of our middle school and elementary schools are getting a little facelift. I know that Bowie High obviously got one a few years ago, and then Port Allen, and we just got the Career Academy. So now we're kind of focusing on elementary and middle school. So excited about that. So that'll be coming over the next few months. And so we'll be shifting some people around, but no major inconveniences, and just ready for to see the outcome. So.
And what's the latest on the economic development front?
Ooh, well, I mean, we talked about the Microsoft project. We still have another big.
Wait, hold on. No, I don't want to assume that everybody remembers that conversation. Refresh us on the Microsoft project.
Yeah, so Atmos Clear is doing a project at the port of Baton Rouge, and this will be a carbon capture project. And so this goes back, we talked about this a little bit, about how these companies are demanding products that are carbon neutral. Microsoft is a great example of that. I know you've been keeping up in the legislative session. I guess we'll probably dive into that. Maybe this is a good segue, but in committee a couple of weeks ago, you heard testimony where people were like, we can't find companies that are demanding this. We can't. And I'm like, hello, there's one right here in the capital region that's demanding it. We just announced it. But it is that it's a reality. And so if Louisiana is going to keep up, we've got to learn to keep our products competitive, just like everybody else around the world. So they're going to be, they signed the largest carbon removal deal in history of the world. Atmos Clear did with Microsoft. And so that'll be on those 140 acres at the port. And they're going to be making final investment decisions by the end of the year. So excited about that. So got that. Grand Fuels, obviously, they're going to be making some decisions about that one too by the end of the year. And then we've got just a couple of other little things that are popping up here and there. I know I've kind of been teasing like this healthcare project that we're working on, but I think we're getting close to the finish line on that and making an announcement soon. And then this is kind of a maybe just a personal one that I want to like shout out, but Empire Wings is coming to West Baton Rouge. They're the official wing of LSU. And I've grown up with them. And so Vic Smith, who's the owner of that franchise, it's crazy because a few months ago he had put out on his social media handles a survey, and he was like, where do you guys want Empire Wings? Because I think he's got 4 locations right now that are around the EBR area. And overwhelmingly, everybody was like, West Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge. And so he's coming to West Baton Rouge.
Let's go.
So they're going to be located in Addis. And I think we're in the middle of planning the grand opening, but I think they're going to be opening the doors May 31st. So super excited about that. But it's really neat to kind of see businesses from EBR migrate across the river, because usually it's the other way around with the traffic woes. So we're excited to see somebody that's finally hopping across this way. So yeah,
right,
that's what we're working on.
We got to connect offline to get Empire Wings on for a Foodie Friday.
Oh my God.
In fact,
amazing.
if they're opening
and
on
he
May
does so
31st,
much. He gives back to the community so much. And so I was actually talking to one of his marketing people last night, and he does a lot. He's already reached out to the schools, and he's already trying to get in with them, and he wants their band at the grand opening, and he wants to sponsor things. And I'm like, this is exactly what we want. So it's just, I love businesses like this that really want to kind of entrench themselves in the community, get to know the people and give back. And I remember years ago, it was Lori Aronson, and somebody asked her, like, what are you, like, philanthropically, like, what is your motto? And she always says, you always give back to the community that gives to you. And so that's always stuck with me. So when you see our business leaders stepping up and doing things like that, it really sets the tone for everybody else. So super excited to have them over here.
Very awesome. We're talking with Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Okay, let's go back to carbon capture. That pivots us over to the session. Why is it while other states are fighting to get primacy, we already have primacy? And the way you phrased it was, if we want to keep up, Anna, we should be out in front. Why are we fighting this so hard?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
I was talking to somebody about this last night. It's like, I feel like every time Louisiana has the chance to be first at something, we're like, hey, let's go mess this up.
Yep.
This looks like a lot of money. Let's go mess this up, right? Yep. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, look, I understand there are a lot of hesitations when something's new, right? You have people that, I used to work in an accounting firm, and the partners, there were about 25 partners there, and half of them were over 50 and the other half were probably under 50 or close to. And I called the ones that were over 50 the dinosaurs. Don't get mad at me. But I called them the dinosaurs because they were so hesitant for change. And it was, when you're in a role that I was in, business development marketing, you constantly are changing what you're doing because you have to keep up with, it's not newspaper anymore. Now everything's digital, or it's not, people are streaming now and they're not watching TV. So it's like you constantly have to evolve depending on like what the platform is. And so this is just another leg of that. We've got to learn to evolve, especially with science and the way that the market is changing and what the demands are around the world, especially when you have plants like our Shell Catalyst plant that ships products all over the world. I get it. I get the hesitation to change because it's something new and it's something we've never done before. And that's scary. That's scary in any leg. But
wait, I get that, Anna. But at the same time, though, all of our neighbors are beating down the door to get to the party we're already at.
I know. Texas is one of them.
Yes, they are. And they're going to come in here and they're going to take everything that we should be lined up for on the front end. But like you said like you said a minute ago, we find ways to screw it up.
Yeah, we really do. There's a lot of there were a lot of bad bills, and it was funny. I was listening to Will Green Monday on your show, and he said, this is supposed to be a fiscal session. I feel like it's been everything but. I'm like, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like we're kind of focusing on so many different other things right now, and I don't understand it. But this is such a, I hate to do an economics lesson, but it does trickle down. And a couple weeks ago in Natural Resources, when I gave testimony on a carbon capture bill, I gave a very true story just as a chamber director he was actually a former senator in the legislature years ago. He was the one that got me into politics, and he's from the Acadiana area. And a few years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, he bought into the small sliders chain. And so with that, he and his business partners are opening 5 stores from Lafayette all the way to Beaumont, I think.
Really?
And so they had opened 2. And I remember when I talked to him, I'm like, when are you opening the 3rd one? He's like, well, we're not. It's on pause right now. And I was like, why? And he said, well, with the LNG permit pauses with the Biden administration, we don't know if we're going to get those LNG projects. We don't know if we're going to have foot traffic at the 3rd store. So we're kind of just holding off and waiting to see what happens there, because if that continues, then we're going to have to shift what this location is going to be for this store.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that to say this, like, that's a real example of like how these things trickle down and affect everything from, small business to communities. Cause that was going to pump a ton of revenue into a parish of 5,000 people. And so can you imagine what that would have done, or what it's going to do now? Now you're starting to see these projects flow in, excuse me. But for a year, they had to pause And so that affects not only them as business owners, but personally, because that's income for their families. And so this is kind of like how economics works. And I mean, that's just kind of a crash course, but that's a reality. And so,
it's a reminder that the things that go on in that building, it's not about fighting between Republicans and Democrats. These things have actual repercussions in real life. And that's where it's at. We are straight up out of time. She is Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. I always appreciate you having you on. We will talk to you soon.
okay, thanks.
Thank you. It's here comes news. What you say? Oh. Sorry, we were reporting on a story, and I had somebody text me wanting a link to the story that we were talking about. I want to get that out of the way. There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. So how's everything? Yeah. The Sandra gave you everything that I had sent over.
I don't remember what she said actually. It was like just checking in kind of stuff, some stats or whatever. I think.
Yeah. I talked with
crime numbers, blight.
So I talked with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber last week about blight in Baton Rouge, and condemnation process, and how many properties and whatnot. I wanted to pick that conversation up from the angle of how does blight connect back to crime?
Oh yeah.
So what is that like? What does it look like in real terms? And does it get displaced? Does it get solved? Does it just get moved? I mean, it's
gets deferred to the next meeting.
That's the condemnation does for sure. That's another part of it. I might have to pick that part of the conversation up soon. I don't want to, but I have to. It's everybody just
they need
shrugs and points.
They're only allowed to have 30, 25.
And they don't.
For introduction, and then most of them wind up getting. So they have a backlog of hundreds.
Over 5.
Yeah. What's her name? That's the head of that with the city. I've heard her give speeches to community events and stuff. She does a really good job when she talks about the blight problem and everything.
There's 3 different bills in front of the legislature that would hopefully either expedite the process or take it into the council's hands and make it a lot more definitive. Yes. I got another guest coming in, John, after for the next segment as well. So when I flag you down, let's just go let somebody in, please. Thank you. We'll start off with the overall view where numbers are right now, because it's basically are we looking good, or does it just feel like we're looking good?
30% under in total shootings, 15% reduction in homicide right now.
Is that all?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's 3 that happened previous years that the people died this year, so we have to count them on this year's numbers. One was like 2012. The person was.
Wait, that's
And
My
then-
dad died in 2012. That's 13 years ago.
Yeah, so they were injured in 2012, died as a result of that incident. This year, coroner ruled that as homicide occurring from that. So we have to count it for this year. And 2 other ones were shootings that happened last year that they died this year.
I need to know more about the story because there's a scenario where the person who shot the person could have already gone through the system, like served
Yeah,
his
well, they were-
time and been out.
Yeah, they were probably charged with like attempted homicide or whatever,
Right.
and then the charge gets upgraded to homicide.
Right.
The person died.
How does that work?
Kind of like a on Nick Touye kind of thing, right? Where he was shot on life support and stuff like that for a long time, and then finally dies.
Yeah. But this person was on life support for 13 years. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, about to start heating up out there with your full forecast. Here's Emma Kate Cowan. Dude, that's insane. 13 years. All right.
Yeah.
And then I want to get the mental health as well because it's mental health awareness month.
Yes.
Figure if anybody's gonna pick up sound bites and run with the story, that's probably this. .736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We've got Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morrison with us. We got a lot of ground to cover. Chief, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me in this morning.
Nope, glad to have you on as
Sorry,
always.
last month we had to do it over the phone.
Look, Chief over the phone is better than no Chief at all. I always appreciate the time, even when it's on the go. I want to get into it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I want to get into that a little bit.
Okay.
I've been following these stories about blight, and I want to talk about that in a little bit. But can we start with just an overview of where our crime numbers are at right now?
Yeah. So overall, I mean, hot topic, of course, is violent crime, and we're actually right now have a and everybody collectively knock on wood, but 30% reduction in violent crime in our shootings right now.
Mhm.
So that is good. Our officers are out there. Remind everybody, we're about 155 officers short on our department, but they're still out there doing the job, of 2 times what they've been asked to do and keeping up patrols and
Mhm.
solving things. Homicide arrests, we're still, kind of trending that juveniles, so far this year, we've arrested 6 juveniles for homicide. That's 16 and younger. So we're looking at 14, 15, and 16-year-olds that are picking up guns and killing people. So that's definitely an issue that we're focused on. And, what is the solution? I think there's a lot of systems that fail a 15-year-old before they get to that point where they're picking up a gun and turn into violence. So it's just a matter of partnering with the juvenile justice system, because a lot of times it's repeat offenders, the churches, the homes, the schools, just all around approach to try to reach these kids.
When you have that level of failure, though, to is the path getting shorter to get there? Is that a weird way to ask the question? I feel like if you're killing somebody at 15 years old, I don't know how young you would have to start to get them going in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's starting at 9, 10 years old. We kind of, in the past, it's been, hey, let's bring these programs to the high schools. And then let's bring them to the junior highs. I think we need to start reaching the kids at elementary school and giving them the resources and giving them the conflict resolution skills and just all the things. With the technology, the world's getting a lot smaller. The beefs are happening online, on social media.
Yeah.
Kids are growing up faster because of what they're exposed to. So we need to reach them younger and younger.
We got Police Chief TJ Morrison with us talk about overall crime numbers. You were mentioned during the break, the homicide numbers are down, though. Is it the homicide numbers are down, or are we looking good, or just should it feel like we're seeing less of it?
Combination of both. We are the homicide numbers are down about 16-17% right now, as compared to where we were this time last year. And so we are seeing a reduction.
The shootings, the homicide numbers, they are where they are right now, but we're coming up on the end of the school year. And I want to couple this with going back to the fact that we're 155 officers short.
Mm-hmm.
Do things I asked the question knowing the answer. Do things change over the summer where there, I mean, I don't want to say idle hands, the devil's workshop, but do we see a difference when school's out?
Yeah, so historically, we do see a increase in specifically property crimes, a lot of thefts, vehicle burglaries, which I got to take a second just to plug our Lock It Up campaign. Last year we saw several hundred, somewhere between 350, 400 guns stolen out of unlocked cars, right, in the city limits of Baton Rouge. So we got to remind everybody to keep their vehicles locked up, keep your guns out of your cars so that people aren't getting their hands on it. But especially coming into the summer months, you're going on vacation. Don't advertise that you're out of town. Um, just be smart about how we're doing things. But we definitely see that increase. Last year, we did not see it. We had some programs in place. We spent some overtime dollars, increasing patrols in specific target areas where we were particularly expecting things to jump up.
Yep.
And we did not see that increase last year. So we're trying to repeat that this year, just a little bit harder with the reduced budget this year than we had last year.
I was going to ask, I mean, do we have overtime dollars to spend this time around?
No, but we are working with the mayor's office where they're trying to help us find some carry forward monies and some things like that we can spend on some of our directed patrols.
Continuing with that, I mean, it's been an evolving process with the new mayor as he's had to pivot on things that were just dusted under the rug for a generation. Are we anywhere closer to seeing light at the end of the tunnel as to where we're going to be headed for a more stable budget?
Yeah, I do think that the mayor and all his team, just great hearts. And every time I talk to them, their hearts are in the right place. I think they're still in that learning curve.
Yeah.
But tomorrow night, Wednesday night at the Metro Council, they have a plan going forward to be voted on by the council. Thrive BR is going to redirect some dollars to the general budget for the parish to vote on in November. We fully, as the police department, fully support that. That's going to bring some money back to the general budget, which most of our 99% of the department's budget comes from that general budget. So if we want any kind of more increased patrols, overtime dollars, we talked about before, sending our officers to these special events on overtime and how we don't have the budget for that. So we want to continue to do any of those things. If we want to get more pay for our officers so we can hire more to decrease that 155 deficit that we're looking at right now, we really need that thing to pass.
We're talking with Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. Okay, let's pivot over to blight. Had the discussion with Jake Polanski from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber last week about just the overwhelming amount of blighted properties we have, the overwhelming backlog of condemnations. I want to talk to you from a law enforcement perspective. How does blight translate into crime?
Yeah, so it goes back, decades and decades and decades of broken window theory, right? When you have rundown properties in an area, people don't care about area, then crime kind of moves into that area. Trap houses are formed, and just crime happens historically around those blighted properties where things are not being taken care of. So what we've done at the police department, we're using our technology. Every other Wednesday, whenever there's a council meeting, we send them a list. We look at the blighted property, the condemnation list, and we send them data. Here's all the crime that's happened around those areas. This is why those properties should be condemned. This is what's going on. We've also just recently introduced, made it easier for our officers to call in blighted property. All they have to do is key up on their radio and tell headquarters to build them a call for blighted property. And it automatically then puts it on one of our maps. And so then we can do overlays of crime hotspots and blighted properties and give those statistics over as well.
I love asking questions I already know the answer to, but I just want to hear a formal definition. What is a trap house?
Yeah, so a place where criminals are storing drugs, storing guns, doing illegal activity, things like that inside of that house.
And how prevalent are they?
It depends on which area you are. If you're some of these areas, a couple of weeks ago, so a lot of people know I drive around at nighttime and go ride with uniform officers, go on calls with them, back them up on traffic stops. The mayor knew I was doing this, so he actually rode around with me a couple of weeks ago on a Friday night. Me in the car, him riding shotgun. We went on calls, made traffic stops. A lot of people like, Chief, you got to be careful. I was like, well, I think it's good that the mayor's out here, and he loved it. He will tell you that it was an eye opener. We went and drove around in Mall City, where they just have 200 unit apartment complexes that are boarded up, just sitting there, right? And all of kind of other areas around North Baton Rouge where they just have individual houses and then whole apartment complexes that are just run down and boarded up, and something needs to be done with them.
I mean, you think about that, a 200 unit apartment complex just shut down, while conversely, we actually have a housing shortage in town. I mean, we have physical structures that have been laid to waste and yet it's this weird imbalance of things.
Yes, definitely. And it just like anything takes resources and materials to get it done.
Well, okay, then what kind of resources are needed? What kind of materials? What is needed to move this ball forward?
Well, so really the root thing, and I wouldn't say the problem, but the root thing is, we are an American, we have constitutional rights. And so somebody owns that property. And so before you take somebody's property away, we don't want to be intrusive. We need to set forth certain things. I think there's some things happening in the legislature right now that are going to more easily define what a blighted property is and the steps that would happen. But then we need somebody to come in and, hey, all right, this thing has been condemned. Do we just tear it down and make it into green space, or does somebody then repurpose that for housing for veterans, or, whatever the case may be?
You got Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morrison with us. Yeah, there's 3 different bills. There's one on the Senate side. I don't remember which senator wrote it, but there's 2 on the House side, one by Emily Chenevert and one by Vanessa LaFleur, that would make the process less political and expedite it along the way.
I think that's a great way to put it. Take the politics out of it. And I don't envy the council members, right? They got people are like, hey, please, don't condemn my property. And, that's the people that vote for them. So I don't envy the position they're in.
Right.
So what these bills would do would take that kind of political part out of it and just make it very black and white. A law that says this is what a blighted property is. If you don't do anything at this amount of time, then these are the consequences that will happen. And make it very just, hey, you run a red light, this is the consequences.
Yeah, but foregoing your rights as a property owner, I think if everything is spelled out as to these are the parameters you need to stay within, or you're basically handing over your own property at that point.
Yep, exactly.
Got just a couple minutes left with TJ Morse. I don't want you to get out of here without us talking a little bit about mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And your guys and girls, they face a lot of different challenges that just everyday folks don't see. They see things that we don't see. They have to experience things that we don't have to experience. What is done within BRPD to make sure that everyone is as right as can be in between the ears?
Yeah. So a huge issue, right? Not only with our community mental health, but our officers. They're called upon to wear so many different hats. Since 2016, we really have made a lot of steps forward in addressing mental wellness on our officers and kind of trying to keep a check on those. I go out on a lot of scenes, get called at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for shootings and things like that. One, just to let the families and the community know I'm out there care, but other, more selfish reason is to check on the well-being of my officers, right? Because it's not good that they're having to go and see this blood and then go to a next call, right? People don't realize that the pace that they keep up, where they go in a car crash where someone was killed, clear from there, and then immediately go to a call about somebody's house getting broken into. Leave there and go put a tourniquet on somebody that's been shot, and then leave there to go handle a loud music complaint.
Right.
And so we definitely have to take a minute just to check in. We're doing a lot of things through our peer support and bringing in outside people, making resources available, even have an app for every officer has it on their phone where they have free resources to be able to connect with a counselor, take quizzes to kind of check on their own mental wellness.
Another obvious question for you, but it deserves explanation. Why since 2016?
So, of course, 2016, we had a lot of things happen. We had the ambush on our officers. We had the time of protest where officers were working 12-hour shifts, no days off, the flooding. So a lot of stuff happened. And after that, we were able to get some money and really kind of dive into it and invest the resources into it. But we also got to look at mental wellness as just for our officers as really a multifaceted approach. We got to look at their financial well-being, right? And so looking at bringing people to give like financial classes on managing money and stuff like that, so they don't have to work as much and they're smarter with their money. To physical well-being, we've recently contracted with a physical health coach and down in our gym on the first floor. He's been making great strides. Everything from rehabbing officers with injuries, knees and shoulders, to just weight loss and just making our employees feel better. We have 2 officers just this year alone, since they've been started working out since we started this, I think actually back to October, they've lost a total of 90 pounds between 2 officers.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been a really, really good thing that we have going on down there, and the employees are taking advantage of it.
90. That's a member of a K-pop group.
Yes.
That is a significant number. He is Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. Man, enlightening stuff. I know we don't talk about mental health enough, and I know we get into the nitty-gritty of what y'all do on the streets, but important to note it from time to time.
Big time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yep. And one more reminder, lock your cars. I swear, if you leave a weapon in a vehicle unlocked, you're part of the problem. That's just plain. That's not Chief Morse saying that. That's me saying that. I'm not putting words in his mouth. All right. It's 7:50 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Take a quick break. Check your money now. Check traffic. We will continue next. Every single Sherwood Crime Commission meeting.
Keep your cars locked.
4 cars broken into. Doors were unlocked.
How are you?
Alexandra Bailey. When I was commissioner, I literally put up signs there. Could you not leave your cars running with the keys in it so you can play?
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brian.
Alexandra Bailey, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Absolutely. Yep.
How you doing? Hi, I'm John. Nice to meet you.
I'll be there tomorrow night. Yeah, we got several things going on because now we just found out that John Foster is coming in town, so for American Idol.
Yeah, is that going to be here or
In West Baton Rouge, bro. We got to help. He's flying into Baton Rouge, and so we're
Look at him staying on duty rather than being DC while the other cops getting drunk.
Oh yeah, it's National Police Week.
It's National
It is
Police Week.
I
They're
went
just
last year.
tailgating in parking lots right in the middle of the city, and I'm here for it.
I mean, who's gonna stop?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I went last year when we honored some of our officers getting added to the wall, but
Oh, well, that's a
Thankfully.
tragic reason to go, though.
thankfully we didn't have to.
I mean, it's
It'd
personal
be,
opinion.
it'd be better.
There was a ramp up
Mhm.
from,
Yeah, we got
he showed patterns.
But I'm a counselor, I'm
Yeah,
doing the same
so-
business, I guess.
Right.
Oh, anyway, always
Thank
good
you.
stuff. Always
Appreciate
appreciate it.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, do I have both of y'all on or just the one?
Yes, both.
Both, let's go. I'm moving over to 2.
Okay. I'm moving my
we go.
scarf out of the way. So I sit here.
Here, and then let me, here.
You watch your phone?
Oh, thank you, sir. My hair didn't come out right this morning, so I'm discombobulated.
Ah, you look great.
The way Chief Morse is picked up, so Chief Paul used to do that, with going on every month.
Yeah.
The way he's just picked it up and run with it, like, it's been amazing.
He's a pretty dynamic guy. It's great that he's so young. I mean, he could be here forever.
I know. He's showing results. You know?
We love
right.
that. We love that.
We're talking about SB 152.
Yes, please.
I got a press release from Will.
You got, well, yeah, I wrote it, but that's my press guy.
Okay. All right.
So basically, I've been running all over deep red states. The conservatives have been leading on combating domestic violence and human trafficking.
Mhm.
Louisiana has one of the highest rates in the country, unfortunately.
Of domestic violence
And
human trafficking. And those are separate issues.
And those are
but-
separate issues that obviously converge. And so my goal is that if you save your life or your children's life, we don't put you in prison for forever for it. We put the person who did the abusing or the trafficking in prison forever for it.
Right.
So what we'll do here is we'll have about 4 minutes. Sorry, I have to squeeze in a library, so we'll have about 3 minutes. On when we come back from traffic, and then we'll go to news at the top of the hour, and then we'll have a good 8 minutes on the back end. So
And to clarify, I'm here as director for Right on Crime, not Metro Council. So just to clarify, it's perfectly fine to say that I'm a Metro Council person also, but
God bless you. I'm a former commissioner. It's a lot.
Commissioner of what?
When I was in Washington, when I moved to Washington, D.C., I was like, this is a hot mess.
Oh, by the way, we're on Facebook Live too.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I'm a former commissioner in Washington, D.C. for 2FOA.
Okay.
It's a nonpartisan office in D.C., but we handle a lot of the things that council does.
gotcha. Yeah, cool.
Speaking council business before we come back on.
Yeah.
We got to start talking about blight at some point. I just had the conversation with Chief Morse. I had Jake Delansky on from BRAC last week.
Mhm.
Want to talk about expediting the process on condemnations and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because apparently y'all are way backed up.
Yeah.
So, but
we're not backed up on condemning properties. We're backed up on tearing them down. You know, I mean,
yes,
that's the issue. Yeah. But might be good to have somebody from the administration or for somebody from BRAC talk about the bills that are going through the legislature that can.
I did.
Okay.
Jake was on last.
That's what he was talking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Emily's bill and Vanessa's bill, and I forget the
Rick's bill.
Rick
has a bill. Yeah. Rick's is the one that I think is more controversial among council people. I like it. So.
7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. ABC News coming your way in just a little bit. Don't forget, in our next hour, we'll have State Representative Jack McFarland breaking down the budget. I mean, his name is on it, and it moved for appropriations yesterday. Also, next hour, Murr. Yeah, James Murray from Impractical Jokers. He's got a comedy tour coming out. He will join us at 8:40. We're going to dive back into legislative session in exactly 60 seconds. I do need to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. About 45 minutes ago, a plane took off from Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It was headed to Reagan National in Washington, D.C. Coming up this evening, about 7 o'clock, you're going to see the flight come back home to BTR. If you've got business in our nation's capital, you can get it taken care of same day, round trip, BTR to Reagan National, then back home. You don't even have to book a hotel room. It starts at flybtr.com. All right. We heard, who was it talking about the number of bills that are being pumped through the legislative session? Was that last hour with Jeff Crouere about how we have so many bills that aren't even fiscal during a fiscal session? Well, a lot of them are important, and one of them is SB 152 by State Senator Beth Mizell. Joining us now, he is a Metro councilman, but he's also the director for Right on Crime. Dwight Hudson is with us, as is Alexandra Bailey. Welcome aboard. How you doing?
Hi, thank you for having us.
I'm not hearing anything, John. Let's get you right up on. Scooch on up. We got to get you right into it.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, very much.
All right, there we go.
SB 152. Alexandra, first, take about 30 seconds to tell us who you are and why you are here.
Well, basically, I'm just a Christian woman who unfortunately is also a victim of domestic violence. And I took an interest in the area and learned that my home state of Louisiana is one of the leaders in domestic violence as well as in human trafficking. And so with Senator Beth Mizell doing something about it.
Dwight, well, I mean, obviously as the director for Right on Crime, this feels like it's in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are one of a group of policies that Right on Crime targets and goes after in different states. Alexandra and CPAC were working on this when I came on to Right on Crime, and it's a bill that we noticed as soon as the session got underway, and we said, wow, this is something that we want to really get behind.
Okay, SB 152 by Beth Mizell. What does it do, Alexandra?
It's really simple. If you find yourself in a domestic violence or human trafficking situation and you save your life or the life of someone else or perhaps the life of your children, the state is not going to punish you to the same extent that it would otherwise. It's going to spend its time on the people who did the harm.
How does it shift the focus? What within the bill makes it that, because it feels very straightforward, which we rarely get from a bill.
Well, it's only 4 pages long, and that's about as long as a bill should be unless it's budget. But it's really simple. At the beginning, when somebody is arrested, if there is human trafficking or domestic violence and evidence is shown by law enforcement or hospital records that is the case, the district attorneys are going to take that into consideration, and the court's going to take a different path. On the back end, if you've already been a victim, we're going to go back and look at that case.
We've got Alexandra Bailey and Dwight Hudson in with us talking about SB 152 by Beth Mizell. This covers both domestic violence and human trafficking. When we come back from our news break, we'll talk about why those two are interrelated. But Alexandra, before we hit our news break, where do we stand in Louisiana comparatively to other states when it comes to, you said we're, quote unquote leader. Where does that put us on a national ranking?
We fluctuate between position 3 and position 4 on domestic violence, and between position 2 and position 3 on human trafficking.
Unbelievable. The 10-12 corridor, obviously a big part of that human trafficking
driver, right.
Of it.
Connection between Texas and Florida, and that 10-12 corridor is a huge driver of this.
we will break that down as well. And yeah, every time we have Lieutenant Don Capola on for Crime Stoppers, it's literally every week there is a domestic violence case that we're looking for a fugitive on. I mean, it is inescapable. We're going to pick back up after news, traffic, weather. This is Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh, he's got it. John, what do you need to do to get us set up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
I think you spoke. Didn't you work on his show yesterday?
Oh, no. I sent Frank to be on your show yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm the woman who dragged him into it.
Give me a 1, 2, 3, 4. You hearing me over here? Yep. I should be. Am I feeding through on this end? All right. How about now? I want you to overtalk. Hold up.
Brian overtalk. Yeah.
Hopefully we can do this in a minute. Yeah, look, it looks like we're getting Brian. So you're from here?
Tunica.
Here's your Tunica.
West Feliciana, we out there.
And hostage that Hamas freed in an attempt to get a new ceasefire with Israel. And that is when Alexander was reunited with his mom yesterday, hugging him. We just got an inflation update showing consumer prices rose a little less in April than Wall Street expected.
We came in at 0.2% month over month.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni.
2.3% is the headline number year over year. The Street's estimate was 2.4. So again, that's a lighter number than expected.
It's also slightly less than March, making this the lowest annual rate of inflation, 2.3% since February 2021. Kim Kardashian on the witness stand in Paris testifying.
I absolutely did think I was going to die, Kim Kardashian's words as she recounts being bound at gunpoint in a Paris hotel suite. The attack happened in 2016, and this is the first time she's confronted the men accused of robbing her of more than $6 million worth of jewelry.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Earlier in Paris, famous actor Gerard Depardieu was convicted in another trial of sexually assaulting 2 women on a movie set. America's listening to Fox News.
Can you hear me?
No, I'm not hearing them roll back. Move me to program 3, please.
Hey. Okay, cool. So one of y'all has me.
Okay. We good, Joe.
All right. Awesome. Oh, I got him in the back. Yeah. I just heard him.
Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Why choose? This bill was supposed to have been passed 4 years ago. A bunch of people. My home state was supposed to be first. I have so many feelings about getting beat by Oklahoma, but we're going to take that up after the bill passes. I'll work through my feelings.
So when is it up? Today? I'm going to go over that some of the damn have to. They got all the insurance stuff.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that it's Mizell's bill. Mizell's on Juday as well.
I know.
So I'm assuming it's going to have to be first so she can.
It is first.
Run up and go over there.
And with Beth Mizell,
she needs to be in
We need her to vote on Juday. She don't vote.
And when Beth Mizell steps out of the room to go speak on her bill, that's when shit goes down on the other bills on insurance.
I've never understood.
Every year.
You know what's funny though?
That's why I'm here.
You realize they do all this committee stuff Monday through Wednesday. Spread it out through Friday. It's okay to work, they're getting paid. Why can't you do it like that? It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's been wild.
But it's been like that forever now. This ain't like something new.
That. Yeah, I thought they always spread it out across the week, but they've been taking off Thursdays and Fridays.
Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they get paid. Now, Brian will argue with you that they don't get paid nothing, and they don't. 16.8 and then per diem. But when they sign up in session for 60 days, they get paid every day, whether they go fishing, golfing, or whatever, they get paid those days. I think they ought to be there and work. They could really, then they get to the end of the session. It's my favorite part. We couldn't get to your bill. We just ran out of time. It took 40% of the time.
Well, I appreciate you you taking the time to put some pressure on because traffickers don't sleep. We shouldn't either.
Yeah, there you go.
We put so much pressure.
They have better.
I'm gonna go by the Capitol. I'll be very well liked by some people. Some more like me too. I think I'm Brian laughing. Brian, I don't think.
Know, when does Jeff Landry
sometimes he gets called into meetings.
Jeff Landry's nickname is damn close. I am friends with Jeff. I've been friends with Jeff for a while, but I got to tell y'all, it's ran on. Now he's saying Florida's insurance is horrible. So let me ask y'all a question. One quick question. go after Florida's insurance company, how does that fix ours? In other words, in your household, my mama used to say, I don't care what Ron Haldane does. You ain't live in my household. We got to worry about what's here. Yeah. Him going after Florida don't help Louisiana with insurance. It don't help it.
Well, unless there's a settlement coming out of Florida that's going to pay for ours, I don't see the point either.
We ain't getting nothing out of Florida.
We ain't getting nothing out of Florida. That's blood out of a stone.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Nah, you good.
Y'all for doing that. We set, you know, we got to do. And look, good luck to y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But also, I'm really thrilled that this bill's coming up because domestic violence in Louisiana is such a fiscal issue. We lose billions per year.
Yeah.
Based on hospital bills, lack of productivity, over use on cop time. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really
Some
not
of the most
good.
dangerous calls that those police officers go on.
Yeah. I mean, if a cop gets shot,
That's what that officer involved shooting was a month ago or so.
Yep.
Domestic violence.
The one in the hotel parking lot where
Mhm.
the body cam footage was put
Right.
out. about a
Right.
month
Right.
ago.
Yeah. At the
I didn't even bring that up with Chief Morris.
Hotel 6 or whatever it was, I think.
Which, you know, if I was a betting man, I would wager there was human trafficking going on in the same hotel.
Could have been, yeah.
well, thing is, this is the thing. A lot of women start dating somebody, and I've seen it happen so many times, and they think it's one thing, and then it turns into a completely different thing.
Yeah. 806 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. We got to dive right back into where we were in the legislative session, and that's with SB 152, which will be heard today by Judiciary C. I know we talk a lot about Jude A over here with the insurance bills. Let's move over to Jude C. We've got Alexandra Bailey and Dwight Hudson in with us talking about this. All right. This would protect victims of domestic violence and victims of human trafficking. I believe you said if they commit another crime, but there are parameters here. So let's walk through what's okay and what's not okay.
Well, I always feel the best way to explain these bills is through stories. So I'm going to tell you a real quick story about a woman named Lisa Moss. Lisa Moss, this is very graphic, folks, was being sexually assaulted by her then husband with a hot curling iron. He was also sexually assaulting and trafficking their then 5-year-old daughter. Lisa went to her brother crying, telling him what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And her brother took his shotgun when she was at work and went and killed her husband. She was given a life sentence for what her brother did. It's called felony murder.
Really?
Now make it make sense, right? I have 3 brothers. All of my brothers are military.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think if you were to talk to the average brother in Louisiana, he would say, if I found out that was happening to my sister, I'd do the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
But who are you going to turn to? So she served 34 years of a life sentence. She didn't spend any of her daughter's childhood with her because we sent her to prison for what I would consider surviving something that is completely unspeakable.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to alter our laws to take those types of scenarios out of our average charging scenario.
The bill, the way it reads, is that it provides that a defendant's criminal conduct is justifiable if the crime is not a crime of violence, though. So how do we walk that path?
Well, it does include crimes of violence when it is in a self-defense context.
Gotcha.
Right. So you save your life, you save your child's life. This is a stand your ground state, and that should most certainly extend to domestic violence and to human trafficking.
Let's talk about putting together domestic violence and human trafficking, because while these are different scenarios, different reasons behind the, retribution isn't the right word, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
But while they are different scenarios overall, there is a lot of crossover here where the two go together. So can you talk to me a little bit about why the two were put together in the same bill?
Well, there are 2 major issues that Louisiana face, and you're right. They do have a lot of overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse within households is a lot of times where we see children who leave that scenario and end up getting caught up by traffickers. This is where we see people fleeing situations without resources and being taken advantage of by terrible actors. This is also just a place where vulnerable children, in particular, who just find themselves out in the world without somebody looking for them, end up in these horrific scenarios. And then one day they're big enough to fight back. They kill their trafficker. Do we put them in prison in the same way that we would somebody who's a serial killer? I say no. I'm very, very blessed that Senator Mizell also says no.
Senator Mizell also went to the extent to put some parameters in the law that make sure this isn't just a defense that anybody can pull.
Amen.
Right.
We don't want bad actors getting out on this law.
Yeah, there is a requirement in the bill for clear and convincing evidence. And the idea here is that our current laws on duress require imminent threat, essentially, right? And the way that it worked with human trafficking and domestic violence is that while the threat may not always be imminent, it may not always be the gun to your head, the threat is there and it is controlling. And it does have an impact on how people act and the acts that they commit. And so this bill allows the court to take that into consideration.
Also opens things up for expert testimony along the way.
Exactly.
The for someone to come in and basically, I don't want to say back up what the person is saying, but either back them up or refute them along the way. The other parameters that are put in for this bill in order for this to be viable in court, for someone to use this in court, what else was built out for the defendant?
Well, I mean, so to produce clear and convincing evidence means you have to have a police report, medical records. There have to have been witnesses to the situation. A judge has to believe beyond a reasonable doubt that this scenario was a scenario that was involving domestic violence or human trafficking for you to receive this relief. It is a very high bar because we don't want this law abused, while at the same time, we want to make sure that we get all in the weeds when it comes to ensuring that we don't punish the wrong people and help the people who are survivors and get to the people who are the real perpetrators.
We've got Dwight Hudson and Alexandra Bailey talking about SB 152. The Survivor Justice Act is what it's called. I think the domestic violence into this is pretty self-explanatory. I think a lot of us can picture that scene a lot clearer than we can how this would apply in the human trafficking world. How does this apply in the human? Tell me a story. How does, I mean, you said you like to give things with stories. How would this play out to where a person who's being trafficked would need this?
So, and again, this is a very graphic case, but unfortunately, that's the world that I live in. There was a case that I was involved with at one point where a man started dating a woman. He became extremely controlling and extremely abusive. And the purpose of that abuse is because he was interested in bestiality and forcing women into it. When his home was eventually raided, they found millions of underage and very graphic sexual images of women being forced into sex with farm animals specifically.
Oh, goodness.
His death also ended up in her prosecution. And this is one of those scenarios that's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it took me 3 days to read the whole case because I had to keep putting it down and just like go pray because I literally could not emotionally handle it. But if you were to find images of yourself like that, having been forced into that scenario, and you shot that person to try to get out of that scenario, you are not a murderer. I think that exiting that scenario by any means that you can is something that we should understand.
It really does loosen up the definition of the word imminent, though, doesn't it? I mean, because there is no time of day at that point. There is no time of day where you're clear of danger.
Exactly. But you're being forced into sex acts against your will with this permanent physical threat ever present.
When we have bills going through the legislature, oftentimes I will ask this question, and it's probably the toughest answer. What possible opposition could you have here?
Well, I understand that some folks are afraid that the law might potentially get abused, and that's a reasonable fear. But I've passed this law and implemented it in other states under conservative leadership, and the type of people who've been helped are the type of people that I've described here today.
Mhm.
And those are the type of people that will be helped here in Louisiana.
Yeah, this is not the first time this bill has been done. They're actually looking at it in Texas right now. It's been done in Oklahoma, and then there's
Georgia
as well. Yeah, so
It'll be heard in front of the Judiciary C Committee today to Senator Beth Mizell's bill. Alexandra, Dwight, thank you all so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's 8:15 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're going to stay in the legislature, but we're going to move over to the House side. The budget made its way through appropriations yesterday. Jack McFarland joins us next.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. Always. Good luck today.
I really appreciate it.
Always. Thanks for hitting me up on this one.
Yeah. Thanks for taking us.
This was not on my radar. I did not see this one coming. Brutal, man. Brutal. Oh. Tried to hit up leg day yesterday, and my knees are hurting way too bad to do that. Hate it. Hate it. I hate it.
Man.
Studio. Oh, it is. Oh, good Lord. How are you, brother? Uh-huh. Are you already writing material for next Friday? Yeah. No, it's a broken clock is right twice a day. Oh, good Lord. I just got Rocco bombed.
Oh man, what are the chances you answer when Rocco's calling?
He says, why don't you gossip in a cornfield? Because there's a lot of ears around.
Wow. Wow.
I never answer the phone, damn it. Because I'm worried about being distracted. I don't want to like go down a pissed off rabbit hole.
Yeah, that happened quick because I was like, that's what I was hoping. I hope it wasn't like a, a troll or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
I would hang up.
Yeah. Oh, crap. Let's see.
Daniel Earthbomber from the Pelican Institute. When I was talking to Chief Morse,
Yeah.
he said that's a member of a K-pop group. Had me cracking up.
So at least one of the members of BTS, right?
Right.
Maybe Thursday or Friday, I'm gonna get that John Foster, that young kid.
Yeah.
His best friends, my
sweet.
cousins. They grew
Of
up
course
and
he
raised
is. Of course he is.
No.
No. That's
the Saturday family, my cousins, they live in Brody. And Craig said, that kid is at my table. I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to get him.
Yeah.
I got to go through all these publics.
Oh yeah.
But I thought it would be fun if you could.
It would be.
I got to get him first. I ain't got it.
818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Right back in the legislative session in just a minute. I do need to remind you about the folks at Matherns. Tell you every day, download the Matherns Rewards app. Earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. And here's the best part. It's good at all three locations. Downtown on 3rd Street, just a couple blocks away from the state capitol. Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, directly across the street from Tiger Stadium. And Matherns has returned to its OG location here in Baton Rouge. Remember Kenilworth Supermarket back in the day? Right there on Highland, just west of Kenilworth? That's the same family that was Kenilworth Supermarket. It's the Matherns family. They're back. The family you missed, the prices you missed, have come back home to Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth. Download the app today. It's Matherns. Joining us now, to talk about HB1. That would be the budget. His name is on it. He is State Representative Jack McFarland. Representative McFarland, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Brian. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun this morning.
It's been okay. So this roller coaster ride of fun and then emotion and then fun and then emotion and then I don't know where we're headed from here. So let's talk about the budget.
It kind of sounds like the budget.
Yes, it does. $49.4 billion. Can you give me the quick overview of what is getting done?
So one of the priorities that the legislature had was to go ahead and fully fund the teacher stipend. That included the differential pay that has been requested the last couple of years, which really serves a critical need for those teachers that are difficult to get, especially in some school districts where, especially in the rural areas, you don't have that science, math teacher. That was a big priority, Brian. With the defeat of the Amendment 2, failing at the ballot, a lot of questions, a lot of teachers were concerned, about their stipend with the amendment failing. And, look, I think the legislature's will was to demonstrate that, look, our education system is heading in the right direction. I mean, we're moving up in the ranks in the country. We're 32nd. Got another one coming out this week. We're moving up in USA Today to 37. So, we want to continue to reward that positive movement. LA Gators stayed in. It's still fully funded.
Let's go.
There's been controversy surrounding it. But as it leaves now, we still want to give those individuals that want their children to have a good opportunity for a good education. That's still staying funded. We focused on public safety, in light of the terrorist attack that occurred right here in our own Louisiana, something we never anticipated. There are things now that we're going to have to do for the future, and that costs money. But look, I'm encouraged. The body was very transparent. We never had any hidden agendas. We had good conversations and good dialogue throughout the process. And I think it's representative in that bill and the way it came out of committee yesterday.
State Representative Jack McFarland is our guest. Representative McFarland, I've got to ask you about the word stipend because we've been looking for a permanent raise. Is this a permanent raise, or is it we found a way to float it for one more year?
No, this is still a stipend.
Okay.
It is not a permanent. Obviously, when you look at where we got the money to do this, I mean, we took money from acquisitions that were one-time expenses where we buy automobiles, equipment, and different things throughout the state and different agencies. We said, okay, well, we can skip buying that for 1 year. And we looked at Medicaid, some Medicaid savings. We know, LaDoge has just made another announcement yesterday of individuals on the Medicaid rolls that are no longer living in Louisiana. We focused on funded vacancies, a host of things. So when you look at where we got the money, that's not a place that we can go back to next year for money again.
Right.
Now, also, you think about there are bills moving through the legislature now. Chairwoman Emerson and Representative Carlson have bills to put as a single item back on the amendment the teachers' pay raise, utilizing paying down their retirement debt. But Brian, let's talk about the state police retirement debt. It's a good example. We took $148.8 million of surplus and put on the state police retirement debt. And by doing that, we're saving $25.5 million a year in reoccurring revenue. So those are the kind of examples, and it's a good example of what we want to do for the teachers.
Yes.
And the amount of savings that can be recognized when you pay down or pay off, in this case for the teachers, would be paying off their debt retirement service that they owe. I think that's just, with that amendment moving, I'm still optimistic as it moving as a sole amendment alone on the ballot, nothing else tied to it. I think people will be more encouraged to support it this time.
We got State Representative Jack McFarland with us talking about the budget process, cleared appropriations yesterday. But appropriations is not the first step along the way. I mean, you had help getting this 185-page bill written, Representative McFarland. Talk to us a little bit about all the process that goes in before the curtain comes up on the Appropriations Committee.
No, absolutely. Brian, if you'll remember, for the first time ever, we started having budget hearings back in the fall.
Mhm.
We had a fall session where we just brought appropriations members in, brought the agencies in to get a really what I call a early look before they started asking for their budgets again. And I think it was very productive because when we went in, we asked, hey, look, where are some places you might could start reducing in your budget? We knew we had shortfalls coming this year and next year. We didn't realize or don't know exactly how much revenue will be recognized from all of the tax changes from the special session. And then we come back in 4 weeks before session starts and start having budget hearings again. And then our staff, Brian, we have an amazing staff. They do a tremendous job. I don't think people realize how many hours some of them work, even on the weekends. And it takes that kind of effort and commitment to the state, even by our employees like that, to make this happen. Members have been tremendous. We've asked a lot of them, especially the appropriations members. We've had a lot of meetings, even after hours. And it takes a lot of time, and you don't do it for the pay. Made sure I made a point to tell everyone that there was no pay raises for the legislators in there.
Right.
And, I said it in a jest, but people often ask, how many hours do we put in? We put in a tremendous number of hours to craft a budget for $48 or $49 billion.
I mean, it's not, it's a part-time job, but it's not exactly Uber Eats, is it?
No, it's not Uber Eats. That might be a good job for me, though.
Well,
Brian.
side hustle. I don't know, man. With car insurance rates the way they are, who wants to get behind the wheel more?
Hey, look, I'm hopeful. Today's a big day. You got bills in the Senate, and hey, I'm hopeful to see some insurance bills moving through the Senate today out of committee.
So you talk about that roller coaster ride of emotion. Now I'm going right back down to the bottom again. We got State Representative Jack McFarland with us for a couple more minutes. I would be remiss if I didn't ask about CA2. You talk about budget hearings last fall, budget hearings 4 weeks ago. How hamstrung were y'all by the failure of the constitutional amendment?
Brian, it did create some issues, but look, we were preparing either way. We couldn't count on the amendment passing. It would have been nice if it would have made budgeting much easier by merging the revenue and budget stabilization funds. And, there was a host of things associated in that bill that just would have made the budgeting process much better. But we were working in the assumption that whether it did or didn't pass, that we needed to continue to operate, finding efficiencies. And look, even LaDoge, it's working well. They're really working hard. They are finding savings. Like I said, one was announced yesterday. And I just think that there's a host of things out there to come. But, hey, the amendment didn't pass. And so we're back at the table. We're going to do a better job of it. And look, the people spoke, Brian, and I respect the public's decision. So we're coming back. They said, look, you got to simplify this. It was too complex. It was too much. We want it simple. Lay it to us straight. Don't sugarcoat it and decorate it. And I think that's what Julie Emerson and Josh Carlson are doing now.
We got about 2 minutes left with State Representative Jack McFarland, and I want to cover two more things here. One is process moving forward. We'll get to that in just a second. I do need to ask, with so much of our budget being based off of sales tax, and this might be a better question for the Revenue Estimating Conference, but with so much being based off of sales tax, how much does national news or international news like Donald Trump and tariffs play into the numbers that y'all have to deal with?
I get asked that question a lot, and in my conversation with the economist for the state, it does play a role, especially when the cost of everything goes up. People obviously still have to buy it.
Yep.
It does drive up the amount of sales tax we collect, but also it affects the amount of money we have to spend as a state, because we're no different. When we buy things, we still have to pay the same amount. So it does make it challenging on that level. But it does play a role. And look, we still don't know, like the digital sales tax that was passed to lower the income tax. We've only been we're going on 5 months into that. That started January the 1st. So we still don't have a good feel for that. Look, I think it's just really going to take about a year. Let some things level out on the federal level. Let's see what some of these tax changes, how they really affect our revenue stream. And I think after that, we'll get a much better understanding of where we're at.
Last one before we get you out of here, and it goes back to process, the old Schoolhouse Rock days. I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. You've cleared Appropriations Committee, heading next to the House floor. Project for me, if you would, how much you think this budget's going to stay close to what it is by the time it makes its whole way through the process.
So I'm not anticipating many changes in the House or even on the House floor. We found a couple clerical errors that we're going to have to correct. And when you got a budget that large, you're going to make some minor mistakes. We'll fix those. But, when it gets to the Senate, obviously there's going to be a revenue estimating conference meeting in a couple weeks. They will have an opportunity to see if there's any additional revenue. And when they do, look, some of these things, the items that we reduced, they may be able to backfill, and there may be additional dollars for other services that are needed, but we just didn't have the revenue to fund. So that's where it really changes, Brian. It's just waiting on REC to meet, and if they do recognize more money, then the Senate has the opportunity to recognize that money, put it in the budget, and then send us back what they have put together with the recognition of additional dollars.
He is State Representative Jack McFarland. We always appreciate the time, sir. We'll be checking in soon.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good day.
You do the same. We're running a little bit late for news. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. Whoa. What's the latest on the state budget is your headline for that. That is obviously featured. What's the latest on the state budget? Trying to hit both through the well. I was trying to make him flinch. Nope. Oh, rimmed out. I need to do a live read, so I'm going to squeeze it in before weather. Just I'll come in cold, do the live read, and then I'll cue the weather sounder. Got to take a quick second to tell you about the folks over at Vex European. And normally I'm the one telling you about Vex European, but let me read a customer review to you real quick. By far, the best customer service experience I've ever had the pleasure of encountering. The staff was super friendly. The young lady at the front was so hospitable and nice. The facility was clean and neat. The bathroom was spotless. The prices were fair, and I did not feel pressured to get work done. A full evaluation of my vehicle was performed, very detailed, no nonsense, left the facility feeling accomplished. Not like I'd been taken advantage of in a way, not like I had been taken advantage of in a way that I felt so many other times by other maintenance and repair shops. That is a 5-star review coming in from TS on Google, and it's about Vex European. I echo those sentiments completely. I've never used the bathroom there, but the facilities are clean and nice. The coffee is fresh. The staff is unbelievably professional and courteous, and the work is always top notch. If you drive a European vehicle, check out vexeuropean.com. That's vexeuropean.com. Say goodbye to the cooler temperatures. Today's high getting up to 88. We're only getting down to 69 tonight. Tomorrow's high, 88. We're only getting down to 72. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and for the rest of our lives, we'll be in the low 90s. No, actually, for the foreseeable future, low 90s. No real chance at rain in the forecast through at least, I would say, a week from tomorrow. Right now, sunny skies, 71 in downtown Baton Rouge. Time to welcome back to the show comedian, best-selling author, and star of Impractical Jokers, James Murray, a.k.a. Murr. Murr, welcome back. How are you, man?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you back on here. So last time you were on, we were talking about You Better Watch Out. And since that time, I've actually read the book. And I got to tell you, yes, I couldn't put it down. It was, I had to kind of check myself a little bit because it was fun. It's a suspense ride. It's a scary ride, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun read. It's really, really good.
Did you see the twist coming at the end?
No.
Yes, I love it.
So
I love it.
Look,
I love it. It got you.
Yes, and I still want to make the movie here in Louisiana, though. I don't know how we can redo the setting to make it on the bayou. I mean, but I think it can be done. Let's use the film tax credits and get you here.
Yeah, but it being set during a blizzard 2 days before Christmas is kind of integral to the plot.
It is. I don't know how to. Like I said, I don't know how to undo that.
I mean, sure, maybe.
Yeah.
We have to change there's a grizzly bear in the book. We'd have to change it to like an alligator or something.
I see that part. I think we can do the blizzard. We had a blizzard this year, but I don't know.
You did not. Was there a blizzard down there?
Actually, yeah, we had a blizzard back in January, like 3 straight days.
How much snow?
Wait, blizzard by our standards. Let's be very clear about that. By Louisiana standards, it was. We had a good 4 to 6 inches of snow. It was pretty remarkable. So there will not be 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground when you come to New Orleans on July 13th. The Errors Tour, as it's called. Tell me all about it.
I'm in New Orleans for GalaxyCon, I think.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
There was it July 11th or the 13th. I'm there in town. That's not quite my live show, but it'll be kind of like it. I'm there at the Comic-Con at GalaxyCon, which is a great con. And for like 3 days, meeting fans, taking pictures. I'll be doing like a Q&A, like a panel. It'll be really cool. And then I'm on tour. I'm sure I'll be in Louisiana again soon. I'm about to announce like 20 more cities in just the next few weeks. And that's my live comedy show. It's like a stand-up comedy meets Impractical Jokers. So like the whole second half of the show, I make stuff up as we go. Like I ask for a volunteer from the audience. I put an earpiece in their ear. I send them out in the streets of Baton Rouge or wherever it might be, and live on the spot, they've got to do and say what I tell them to. It's like watching the TV show happen uncensored in front of your eyes. It's pretty wild.
I absolutely love this concept because how many people watch Impractical Jokers, and my hands raised in the air very, very proudly. How many people watch saying, I could do that. I could pull that off.
Yep.
And you know everyone's got that inkling.
Everyone says that, and then once you put them on the grill, they're like, oh, man, no way. It is. I know how to turn the screws. Don't worry.
The level of discomfort.
I gotta tell you. We were on tour a few weeks ago. We were in Raleigh, North Carolina, right? And my buddy was with me, and we had 2 shows in one night. And I sent him out wearing an earpiece, and he goes out in public in Raleigh. He's acting crazy. It was a lot of fun. unbeknownst to us, the cops got called on him by strangers that were on the street that didn't know it was part of the show. And there's like 1,000 people watching in the theater. And then so the second show comes around an hour later. I send him out again, and the cops were waiting for him, right? And they see him and they confront him, not knowing again that their video is being beamed into the comedy club, and there's like a ton of people watching, and that I'm in his ear telling him what to say or do. And so the cop says to my buddy on camera, he goes, "If you say another word, I'm going to arrest you." And so I said, "McLean, ask the cop where you can find some good D in this town. D as in Richard, some good D in this town." And he asked the cop, and the cop did not arrest him. And the audience went nuts. They were going crazy in the theater. And then when he revealed that it was me in his ear telling him what to say or do, the cops walked into the theater, and they lost their mind. They got a huge standing applause. It was great fun.
Oh, how cool is that? Okay, first of all, it's cool that it had a happy ending. It didn't end with somebody in handcuffs, right?
Like a tasing incident. Yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, though, like I could feel the intensity from you telling the story. Like, to be the guy on the street, to be the one who's standing there with the cops right there. That is incredible. That he followed through too. Good on him.
I mean, that takes balls of steel, as they say.
Absolutely. What else is in the Error Store? What else is in the show?
I tell stories about like my own life, like errors of judgment I made. For example, my wife and I think are the only Americans, or the only people for that matter, to ever get kicked off the Ring doorbell network. Like Ring doorbells, when you have them on your house, you have to download the app and you get notified all day long from any jackass in the neighborhood that wants to post to the network. Like, be careful, dead deer on the corner of US 1, or watch out, speed trap on the blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't say who posts to the network. It just says your neighbor 0.3 miles away is alerting you of this. It's like his own private social media network that's anonymous.
Okay.
I didn't know that. My wife and I get the Ring doorbells. We're in our house for 1 month, and we start getting all these alerts from neighbors. So my wife and I would open up a bottle of wine every night and start posting to the network just to mess with the neighbors because it was anonymous. And so I was posting crazy stuff for a month straight just to outdo my wife. We'd go back and forth posting crazier and crazier messages to the neighbors. And then eventually Ring tracked us down and kicked me off the network. So I had to replace all my Ring doorbells with Nest cameras instead.
Oh, goodness gracious. See, okay, so one of my favorite things to do is to troll people on the Nextdoor app. I mean, Nextdoor is the one that, is in your neighborhood and whatnot. So I can't imagine where that would go if anonymity were involved.
I know, dude. The Ring doorbell network tracked me down, but the neighbors had no idea who was trolling them.
Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We got James Murray with us from Impractical Jokers. Let's talk Impractical Jokers. Where are we at on the new season?
We are, dude, right after this. In 3 minutes, I leave for set. I'm filming 2 challenges today. We have season 12 coming out this summer, July, I think. Season 12, man, I can't believe it. 300 episodes in. And new season's going great. We've been filming it for about 3 months now. And we're about halfway through filming. We finished in September. And it's really good, man. It's really exciting. And then I got a movie coming out at the end of the year. One of my books, it's called Don't Move. It's like a creature feature novel. Came out like 3 years ago in stores. Got turned into a movie. We filmed the movie already in the fall of last year. It comes out the end of this year. And the movie is T-Pain, Russ the Rapper, Rob Riggle, Q's in the movie, Lindsay Fonseca. It's just a really great, scary movie that's also really funny. It comes out at the end of this year.
Oh, well, now I got another book to read. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If we could, we got just a couple minutes left. I kind of want to talk about the evolution of Impractical Jokers. Has it ever changed like that? When we're talking about how uncomfortable it could get, has that level of tension ever changed? Does it go away with time as you're face to face with people?
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely. They just aired an episode maybe about a month or two ago where I lost, and they had rigged up a device on my back to make it, and they went down through my pants, and they made it look like I was peeing for real, right? And so the punishment was, they said, Murr, we're in like a strip mall parking lot where the people coming in and going all the time, and I had to get caught, quote unquote, peeing on people's cars. So guy goes in and he comes out of the dry cleaners and he catches me what appeared to be peeing on his car tire, and he lost his mind. He took a swing at me. But look, man, I'm 150 pounds. I work out. I was able to duck the swing, so he didn't connect, But no, man, it's nerve-wracking still to this day.
Was this a punishment or a challenge?
It was a punishment.
Oh, so it was relentless too. Like they weren't going to let you out of it.
Yep, it was. I knew it was going to go there too. I knew this guy was going to pop and take a swing, but I was savvy enough to avoid the punch.
Is that the worst you've ever gotten from somebody? Have you ever actually taken a
Nope.
punch?
Yep. Yep. I got punched in the face maybe 5 years ago. They had me hold up a giant bra to a guy's chest, and then it was like a size Z bra, and the guy was a big guy. It was like 300 pounds, 6'5", And he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Well, you're the same size as my wife. Could I want to see if the bra would fit her." And he lost his mind. He took a swing at me. He made contact. Give me a black eye.
Oh my goodness
It's on
gracious.
TV. It was a great episode, though.
So good. Season 12 of Impractical Jokers is on the way. Don't move. Got to go get it. Got to go get the book before the movie comes out. And of course, the Errors Tour is on the way. And Murr will be in New Orleans in July as well. Man, you got a stacked up schedule. So let me let you get after it. I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
You got it, buddy. Nick, good talking to you again.
Likewise. As James Murray, always appreciate that. Of course, I always disclose. I was pre-recorded. I recorded that on Friday as he was headed off to record another episode of Impractical Jokers. It's season 12, man. All right. John, do you think you could do it? You think you could do the Impractical if you had the earpiece in and your man on the street?
Man.
You think you could do that level of uncomfortable with people right there?
I would have used to be able to.
In
my 20s? Oh, yeah. I would do it because I didn't care. I didn't care. I would do stupid stuff. Now? Oh, no.
I think it depends on who's across from me.
Right.
I mean, not like I'm not worried about getting beat up or anything like that.
No.
But like, I'm not gonna. I think the greater the risk, the more likely I would be to dive in.
Yeah. Like, let's make it worth it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna get swung on, let's make it worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
but yeah, some of the level, it's just.
So I'm trying to picture where in Baton Rouge a real life Impractical Jokers would play out. And the only place I could see is the rotunda of the state capitol. Forget about the Mall of Louisiana. Forget about Perkins Row. You want real repercussions?
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. The rotunda of the state capitol. You got legislators buzzing in and out.
Ooh.
You got high-level security that you got to get through to get it. You've got it all. I mean, you not high level. You got to walk through a metal detector, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there are repercussions here.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about like standing outside of A&W hot dogs
right.
or Orange Julius.
Yeah.
We're talking about like I think I would dive in. I think I would embrace it.
Yeah.
I mean,
fun, right?
The hopes that would be on the back end, they would find out, and all would be right with the world. But like,
you never know.
I could dive in. I could lean in. That might be hubris talking. I don't know. Download the free Talk 1073 mobile app. Find out what you missed each day at talk1073.com and watch us live on Facebook and the Talk 1073 Baton Rouge YouTube channel, all courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care, walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. We got Your Money Now coming your way.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That was fun though, Byron. I'm not going to tell you. You could feel my energy, right? Like I ramped up big time with the energy. As soon before we started recording, we were chatting back and forth a little bit, and I'm like, I know you don't remember this, but you've been on the show before. And he's like, I thought I recognized the name. I'm like, you're full of crap. And he's like, yeah, maybe a little bit. And then I brought up, I'm like, I want to turn your book into a movie here in Louisiana. And he's like, you're that guy. And I'm like, okay, now I believe you.
Yeah.
Now I believe you. Do what? Man, I don't know. When are you taking off?
But that might be bad. I know you got to do it on the weekend. Is there a better day that's better for you? Or just
not Wednesdays. That's
Friday don't screw you up.
Friday don't mess me up.
You talking about going from what you already do to add 2 more hours.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, it's a lot. That's why
but
I want to make sure that's something you want to do.
No, absolutely. I mean, look,
you can do it from here with the exception of Walker will be in your ear telling you when to take the break and all that.
Well, Yeah, I mean, I would probably okay, so I just had Jack McFarland on at 8:15. I would totally repurpose that interview and play it back. I mean, because the rest of the state should hear that. I mean, yeah.
No, you can do that. You get it, you send it, you play it.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
We can do that, but do you need a week? 2 weeks?
Preferably a week.
I think I'm gone next Friday, but I know we can get over the summer a little bit more. That way I can say, Brian, I got a day open.
Yeah.
You can really.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. Very much so.
I told you I want you to do that. I still want you to do it. And I tell people, I got one request. The only request I ever made on somebody doing my program was
what?
Couldn't have Bobby Jindal on there unless he came on with me. I said, you don't have Bobby Jindal on your mind. I don't think that was going to be a problem. I did that because the dude came on my program 1,000 times, and all of a sudden it was. Same thing with Cassidy. That would be Cassidy needs to come be on with him. I keep reaching out, but they're not there. But I think he comes around by next year. This year, he comes back. I told him, come sit with me. I said, let's do it. Just like I'm talking to you.
You know, I asked him the impeachment question.
Did you?
Yeah. I said, how do you, because he had a meeting in the White House with Donald Trump. Yeah. And I said, was it weird? He said, what do you mean was it weird? I said, you're sitting across from a guy that you voted to impeach twice.
We actually voted to convict me.
That's what, yeah. And he said, well, no, it was only once, not twice. And I'm like, I thought it was twice. Anyway, I don't want to bog it down.
What they did was they voted on a procedure thing that he could have stopped it.
Yeah.
Then he came around and everybody got mad at him and said, I'm going to give him a chance. He didn't do it again. It was twice in that aspect.
There were two different impeachments. He voted once on each impeachment. That was the explanation I got afterwards. But my thing was, I straight up asked him, and he said, no, it's not weird at all. That was all in the past. We're looking to move this nation forward. I'm here for Donald Trump's agenda right now. And I mean, he gave a legitimate answer to it.
Trump's big winning thing is this year, next year. After that, everybody's going to be worried about re-election, the presidential race. You see what I'm saying? It's just like Landry. Landry don't realize this. This is it. This year.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. When you get it, if you ain't fix some insurance rates by next year, then that means let's say you fix it next year, you're going to have an election, nobody's going to feel it.
The Cassidy example is the perfect example. Ask Bill Cassidy how hard it is to get the crap back in the horse. Like, once you run afoul of the Louisiana voter, getting back on track is impossible.
This is my thought on that. It's easy for your numbers to see. Very difficult to come up, and that's exactly what you said. I'm using numbers. Once you go down, it's hard to come back up. Yeah, but that's in life.
Yeah.
Get your ass kicked and do something. Steal something, get caught, go to prison for 2 years, come back out, see how hard it is to rebuild your life.
Exactly.
I don't think he can win. I really don't think he has a chance. But I've been.
What, Cassidy?
I don't think he has a chance in Republican co-sponsors. You got Landry working to go get Julia Ledlow. Okay? But I just think Cassidy gets beat in a co-sponsor.
By the way, what a kick in the balls for John Fleming, huh? But Fleming,
like Fleming,
Fleming's, I don't like Fleming.
But Fleming's is pretty well like in the rural areas. Fleming's was on the program today on one of the stations on there. They smashing Landry. I thought, oh shit, here we go.
Oh. Yep.
Does Julia really want to get tired of Jeff? Jeff said
Nope.
32%. Think about what you said.
Right.
I'm 32%. You gonna tie to me? You're gonna tie to him?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
60%.
Or continue running your own shit because everybody loves you. Julia has no reason to tie with anybody.
Julia shouldn't touch anybody.
Nope.
If she wants to run. She will be the one hard to beat. Being a woman, Republican, will be hard to beat. You agree with that? Oh yeah. Oh no, she's pretty good. I knew her husband real well. I didn't
Same.
really know her.
Yeah, no, same. I knew Luke pretty well. He's getting a post office. So
I had a problem with that. They gotta name it after somebody. I wouldn't name that.
I remembering Luke, I'm like, would Luke even want a post office? No, he wouldn't. He would rather like a racetrack gas station. You would get Luke something, get him a Buc-ee's. Oh, I know. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh man, what a ride! What a show! Been all over the map today. Man, thanks again to Murr. Thanks to State Representative Jack McFarland. Thanks to Baton Rouge Police Chief T.J. Morse, Anna Johnson. We had Dwight Hudson in, Alexandra Bailey. We had Jeff Crouere host the Ringside Pod. It's been literally all over the place today. Whew. Not done yet. We got one more story to cover here before we cover that last story. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. In 1897, Landmark Bank got started as a community bank. You know what they've grown into over the course of that time? I mean, we're talking more than 130 years in existence. Well, 127 years, 28 years in existence. They've gone from being a community bank to being a community bank, never straying from the mission. This is what they do. You don't just have a bank when you have Landmark Bank. You have a banker. Whether you're talking about your personal banking, checking, savings, borrowing, or whether you're talking about, investing in your own business, whether you're going the entrepreneurship route or you've got that business account that needs tending to, landmarkbankla.com is the website, landmarkbankla.com. Okay, the outside in, let's get it. Ten years and 4 days ago, I got the chance to meet a New Orleans legend. It's up on the picture with my family, the family wasn't complete yet. We hadn't even had James yet. The picture with my family out at a crawfish cook-off at University of New Orleans, out of UNO's campus. It's the Haldane family and Al Scaramuza, longtime New Orleans legend. It's my Facebook and Instagram stories if you want to go see it. Al Scaramuza was an absolute legend in New Orleans. He passed away yesterday at his Metairie home at the age of 97. Those who grew up in the Big Easy remember the commercials.
Hi, Dr. Scaramuza. I examined the crawfish. Oh, you all right? Oh, you nice. Oh, look at it. Oh, you nice. Oh, this is cardiac arrest. No good. Brush your teeth.
Seafood City is a very pretty down abroad in St. Bernard.
That's Seafood City, 1826.
I didn't realize how much explanation that was going to need on the back end. So Al Scaramuza is wearing like a doctor's coat and he's got a stethoscope and he's putting the stethoscope up to the crawfish. So if the crawfish is good, he throws it back in the pile. The one he said cardiac arrest, he threw it over his shoulder. It's just a longtime personality. New Orleans legend passed away yesterday at the age of 97. That's going to do it for us. Moon Griffon's next. Yeah. Yeah.
Take your time, Mr. Brown. I just want to make sure we got all our hearing stuff on. Brought it somewhere else. All right, brother. Transfer us over.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.